SASANS! Welcome, SASANS, to this week's episode of SASANS and Dragons, our homebrew house rule infested game of 5th edition, Dungeons and Dragons. I am Magnus Beasticus, your dungeon master for the evening, and you may have noticed yet once again that the bottom left of the screen is not comprised of the losers. That is because they have gone on another grand real-life adventure, and we are here to suffer in their place. To go on a also real-life grand adventure of our own. So, this is a one-off not taking place anywhere close to the main campaign. This time, you will be adventuring with the two heroes of...
Who's that? Because you're just pointing down.
From their perspective.
Kardashian. Level now 7. Human variant barbarian. Path of the Zealot.
So I guess you're pointing at me, who's this way or that. Whichever way I am toward you, I'm going to think this way. Yes. I am playing Voro Baresh, a male dragonborn fighter, Eldritch Knight.
Ooh. How appropriate that there is a dragonborn in the party, for they find themselves on the mountaintop city of Marahute, a city comprised of all of the different dragonborn scales from across the globe. A king known as Valrith the Elemental has taken all of the various dragonborn tribes and reunited them, or just united them to begin with, to live in peace and harmony among everyone else in this city of Marahute. This city has, as it is located on the tops of Dragonleap Mountain, has many different sort of climates across all of the different mountains. This is our sort of hub city for one-offs these days. Both Ball and, may I refer to you as Ball or your first name? Because you normally go as Ball.
My first name is Voro.
Voro.
My family name is Baresh.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, not even Ball in there at all. So, Voro?
Yes.
Voro and Card find themselves now in the Winded Inn, a inn/tavern that is sort of nestled in the mountain to watch the always ongoing tournaments happening, which is what this city of Marahute is known for. People from across the land come to Marahute to experience these tournaments and to fight in them in the hopes of gaining grandeur and a prize beyond their wildest beliefs. Though that is not the story that we tell today, as I switch the audio.
Roll initiative. I'm trying to think if I actually wrote down any notes within this notebook on Marahute. I don't think I did.
You don't need them necessarily for this one-off.
What I wanted to remember.
Both you and Voro, I need to write those names down. Voro?
Vorro. You can say Voro or Voro, but I can't roll it really. Voro.
Card with a Q.
Not this time.
Quar.
Are you black scaled?
No, I am a white scales.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. You find yourself at the sort of like the Winded Inn, sitting down and watching what appears to be the most incredible fight you have ever seen. The greatest fight of a lifetime, which is kind of odd because you know that that the participants are taking place in the novice chains on the lower levels. Yet still, this fight is giving you, with every blow, a wave of inspiration. With every battle cry from the combatants, a legion of goosebumps. This is truly the fight of a lifetime. A dwarf, you notice, shifts into that of a massive ancient black dragon to clash with an elf that has shifted into the massive sort of pale-skinned form of a storm giant, the most powerful of the giant clans. This nebulous cloak shifts on the battlefield as well as a sorcerer holds his hand out and calls upon nearly a solar flare, a flash of white, consumes the entire battleground and sort of presses through the windows, sort of touching your skin and giving you sort of like accentuating the goosebumps that you already have. As the light fades, though, with the positivity, with the light, positivity fades in its place as well, followed by a deep welling sense of dread soon after. As you watch the storm giant take the shape of your lost love, you're all of a sudden awfully aware of the tasks left unfinished. Is there ever enough time? The weight of life kicks in. The black dragonborn flies closer to you. Both, smoke spilling out of its mouth. The magnitude of the battle before you shrinks. You notice the bar you were sitting in, Barsek the brewer, pulling away from you. The black-scaled dragonborn, an incense snapped in his hand, smoke trailing from the incense to your nose. That was a potent one. I'll have to remember to actually write down the ingredients to that this time. How are you feeling, friends? And you look at your familiar black-scaled dragonborn bartender and over his shoulder at the battle that you were watching before. And you notice that there's just a hunched over, sort of dirty looking hobo mage with his hand sort of extended, and his cloak is partially on fire where his hand is, and he's sort of like down to the ground, quivering. On the other side of the hanging chained sort of dueling center that you were watching, there's a small flaming pockmark about 7 feet away from a bald, pale human who's also quivering from being shot by a firebolt. You now sort of, your senses are almost fully back together, and you look down and see empty cups sort of like shimmering from a brew that Barsek had given you mere moments before.
Whoa, Barsek, man. I didn't ask for this, man. I asked for like a white, a white storm giant.
Can I bottle this up, maybe?
Was there not one included?
Can I bottle this up? Take this with me?
You've drank it all. I'm afraid that it'd be irresponsible of me to serve you any further.
Can I get another cup of it?
Yeah, like, how do we get like more though, man?
You guys were like leaning over the counter trying to get over into my turf here.
Yes.
I'd say you've had enough for one day, and it's 11 a.m. Come on, guys.
Plenty more time.
That's more time, man.
This is what the white storm giant has to offer you, by the way. Everything becomes accentuated until you get into the hazy, dark trip area.
Oh, that's what it's called now? That's trademarked. Man.
You asked for it.
I asked for a white storm giant.
Can I get 2 white storm giants to go?
You see, I actually made that whole ingredient or that whole concoction up. He asked for a white storm giant. I was like, yeah, sure, I got that. And I just threw together what I had. But the effects are clear.
What did you put in it? You could sell that for a lot, man.
I'm going to have to analyze the spilt over jars and liquids behind my counter. It might take some time. Oh. And he sort of like goes and he sort of like brings out this notepad and starts scribbling down, like looking at the measurements that are sort of partially there, but only indicative by the residue along the glass vials and not actually the thing itself. So he's trying to recreate what you guys just had. But in the meantime, as he's immersed in his recollection of these brews, Dan Benger, the peasant, the sort of monkish, muscle-bound but dirty peasant that you had encountered previously on your ride up to Marahute, comes over to you. And he goes, hey, Card, Voro, how you guys doing?
You gotta have that drink, Dan.
I told you I don't drink.
Dan, you got to.
It's,
Just break it, bro.
all
break
the
it.
nights and days in my village are filled with hard work. If there's ever a moment of inactivity in my hands, then the village could starve.
Good.
That doesn't seem right. But hey,
Exactly.
it's your
Card, that's why I'm here.
no,
To win money.
like
To set my village on a different path.
like
So-
you should have
of prosperity.
What? Some downtime.
So Dan, remember on the tram ride up here, or whatever it was, whatever that moving car was called.
Vernacular. Most people don't know that that's actually what it's called.
Yeah, it's the vernicker thing. Yeah. So.
And Barsek
So-
actually looks up and he goes, "No, it's actually a funicular."
Finagle. Yeah, whatever it is. There was a person on there with us. He had, I believe, a spear. Have you seen him yet?
Oh, the last time I saw him,
Dreamer?
I think, is when you saw him. He was sort of flying off the edge into the abyss. I pray for him nearly every day, but I fear the worst. You see,
Very well.
the reason I'm coming to you guys now is you're the ones I'm closest with in the city.
That's sad.
Unfortunately, I think so too. We should all be friends and help one another. But unfortunately, this is a city that very much keeps to itself, and the mercenaries and hopeful combatants here are always in it for themselves. I've actually lost quite a bit of money, weapons, items, precious things, just even talking to people. I go back to my cot and realize I'm a lot lighter, unfortunately. So I approach you because I have a favor, and it's quite a big one, if you listen.
You don't have a safe or anything you can put your belongings in while you travel?
Those are expensive. In order to,
Look how
Guaranteed
expensive it is
protection.
now. Really expensive.
it's a good point.
You know, in hindsight, man, maybe you should.
I would like, for this case, for you to be my safes.
You want us to hold your stuff?
Not
I'll
exactly.
take your stuff.
I would like you to accompany me into the Dark Glacier.
That I've heard of. Have I heard of this?
It's not a very inviting name, the Dark
Yeah, I know
Glacier.
that. Have I heard of this?
Barsek starts to like. You know that there are the two closest sort of regions connected to Marahute, on the sort of western mountains is the Hunter's Domain. It's a very green forest with lots of hunting monsters, and people spend their time there when they're not fighting in the dueling chains to get food, notoriety, money, things like that. And the Dark Glaciers are to the eastern side. It's really like snow caps compared to forest caps of the Dragonleap Mountain. And not many people go there. It's known to be quite dangerous. And that's all that you know. There's not a lot of foot traffic there, and most people don't even know how to actually get fully into the region of the Dark Glaciers because it's pretty treacherous.
Well, Dan, my man, seems like we're not doing anything right now. We don't have a duel coming up.
Hey, you look at your sort of wrist sort of adhered chain with the red and now newly added blue link, and it's absent of information for your next fight.
So we got some time. What do you say, Varro? You down? We could just go.
I need to get a little,
we could
get a little practice
not.
by the time before the next match. So as long as there's things to kill, I'll be fine.
I hope there's not, but I just don't know much about it, and it sounds pretty dangerous.
True.
You see, my daughter's birthday, Delilah, is coming up, and the Dark Glaciers are supposed to have been home to a lost civilization. Long time ago. Whereas we didn't have much entertainment in my village, we did have stories that we had heard from travelers. This was amongst the most popular. There's supposed to be a fountain there that produces a surplus amount of water that is lighter than air and denser than diamond.
Wouldn't it float away?
I couldn't tell you. It's a thing of legends, and I'm hoping to acquire some. It's called, at least my village called it crystal flow.
Sounds like drugs to me.
To make a dress for my daughter, in the hopes that it will accentuate her beauty and her protection.
Say your daughter's name's Delilah? That reminds me of this song. You know,
Catchy. That's why we named her that.
Hey there, Delilah. What's it like in Marahute?
I hope to bring her here one day, yeah.
Song was overplayed.
Well, Dan, when do you want to leave?
The day just began.
You're right. We should take a nap.
If that's how you normally adventure into the unknown, I will take your lead. I'm new at these things.
Well, Dan, you go out. Do you have anything on you? Weapons, supplies?
In terms of offensive ability, I only need my hands. You've seen it before. In terms of defense against the elements of the cold, unfortunately not. Most of my village, they freeze to death, to be perfectly honest. We're not fully equipped or
Smart.
experienced in how to survive the elements of the cold.
But
Could be a
Barsec,
problem
where do
trying
we
to
get
go
some
in
like
there.
cold weather gear?
Well, you'll usually find some equipment hawkers on your way into the Lindis Passage. It's the eastern passage of Marahute, where most of the mercantile district is. In the known paths to the Dark Glacier, you'll find all sorts of relatively shady individuals who will offer you some equipment for cheap. And he looks at Dan sort of like he's not offering advice in any other direction but the cheapest route. He doesn't see much affluence coming off of Dan.
All right. We'll go check out the Eastern Passage. Is that the way we need to go? I've never been to this place. Dan, have you been to this place before? Do you have a map?
I don't have a map. I have
So-
just used my eyes to see that.
So you have come so ill-equipped to this.
That's why I beg you for your
Jeez.
assistance.
Jeez.
I think we heard this earlier when we talked to him on the cart. He said he didn't have very much money and he was coming to do some stuff and people attacked him. And
This is some hard
it's
charity
like, oh
work,
my
Dan.
gosh.
I also take this as an opportunity to train myself. You both are hopeful aspirants to make it through the dueling chains. This is but one element of what the dueling chains has to offer. These various scaled dragonborns, trials of every element await us up there. Do you not want to master the cold, the frost?
Not really, man, but I guess we'll help you.
The fountain is supposed to have a plethora amount of crystal flow. I'm sure it's worth an incredible amount.
We don't
That's
sell,
if we even
don't
find
sell
it.
drugs, Dan. We don't sell drugs.
And I don't do them.
Well, all right.
Okay, crystal.
It's called crystal meth. I just realized how close.
You got
Crystal
flow.
flow. It's-
Yeah. Gotta go get it for his daughter.
Exactly.
Likely story, Dan.
scratches the side of his arm and twitches a little bit. And you notice his eyes are kind of bloodshot right now. I need it like now.
Yeah. I need it. Barsec, do you know a direction that we need to go for this? Who can we talk to get a map for this? Barsec.
you definitely might want to find a guide of sorts or somebody. I guarantee some people closer to the Lendis Passage on the eastern side will have information.
Good.
I myself stay away from there. Sometimes I send poor travelers, ambitious travelers, to get some ingredients for my brews, but lucky for you and me, I don't need anything right now. Come back and there might be a white frost storm giant waiting for you.
Good. I'm glad you didn't say I am the matchmaker. Everybody sends us to there every time.
She's got better things to do. Her heart and soul are dedicated to the dueling chains.
Yes.
Well, Varro, Dan, let's skadoodles.
Looks like we're off on another adventure. Just the three of us.
Where was the first adventure, Dan?
Yeah, let's calm it down, Dan.
Where was the first adventure? But I don't know what that was.
It's a sign of camaraderie in my village.
Maybe if we come back alive, I'll give you a fresh whatever that was.
Sign of camaraderie?
I pray thanks to you we will.
Is that what it's called? Sign of camaraderie? Or is there a simpler term?
All right, well, let's head to the eastern.
It is a fist, and we bump it.
So you punch each other's fists.
No, I think a simpler term might be fist bump.
Bump, punch, same thing.
Sounds aggressive.
I like it.
Bump punch, what a name. All right. And he strolls out expectantly, sort of like shoulders back confidently that he's got his two comrades with him once more.
Varro, let's just leave him, man.
We'll stay 5 feet behind him.
We'll go to the casino.
Keep look out for traps. He might trip them.
But you have seen Dan. He's in action. He is more skillful than you would have given him credit for just by appearance alone. He's very
strong.
nimble,
Very quick.
yeah, exactly. And like even sort of like walking through the densely packed Winded Inn, he's like just subtly sort of shifting his form to avoid like this is sort of a raucous inn or a raucous tavern, and like a body would fly across the tavern. He just sort of like leans back and it flies in front of him. Would have gotten him otherwise. And so the Winded Inn is very conveniently located towards like the main town square, the city square, where the two main passages, sort of like the one for the aspirants of the dueling chains, often frequent, and then the more mercantile entertainment sort of like portion inside of the mountain on the eastern side. As you guys exit, the beautiful and vast view of the Dragonleap Mountains sort of presents itself to you as you're sort of offered another scene or reason to believe in Merahute's beauty and sort of just what they offer in this area. You see all of the sort of like snow-capped mountains sort of curling to the east, and the hunter's domain curling to the west, where at the very, very far end of it, you see just sort of this like bubbling volcano spilling, slow rolling streams of lava down. You guys are outside at this moment, and you sort of hear this like you follow the sound. It's actually coming from above you, and you sort of like your vision meets this smoky stream trailing inside near the core, or inside of the open core of Dragonleap Mountain. And you turn around to see the sun sort of spilling in through the core, and you hide your eyes a little bit, and it takes a moment for your eyes to adjust as this small sort of like jittering form is help, and it's help, please. And you see this Sparks. You may have run into him previously, but he's sort of like the newsboy of Merahute. He's a young dragonborn. His wings are sort of he wasn't afforded proper wings on his birth, and so he sort of uses these mechanical wings to help him out, and these small jets on the bottom just like are flaring as he's maybe like 70 feet above you, as he's colliding into the colorful shingles of the roofs built into the side of Dragonleap Mountain of various different tiers. Imagine like San Francisco, where the houses are so densely packed, it's almost as though they're built on top of each other. It's similar to that, only they're built into the mountain, and the shingles are, as the sun hits it, they're just sort of shining brilliantly in this sort of like beetle carapace coloration. It's almost as though like all the dragon scales were formed into one color, and it's like ever shifting every time the light hits off of it. And so he'll be like, oh no, and like 70 feet above, shingles will be spilling down onto the levels of the... What was that?
As they're sneezing.
Oh, okay. God, that sounded aggressive.
Iridescent or incandescent?
It's not really either of them. Like, it's still a muted color, but it's this deep shifting muted color. Do you know like the green and purple and blue?
Yeah. It's just like an oil stain almost.
Exactly. And so he's just like his like jets are failing, and one of his wings is sort of dumb at the moment and broken, and he's just like slamming into them going around, and you see that all of the Dragonborn, like the guards and all of the people are just going throughout their day. And yeah, Dragonborn guard is just like, meh, he's got to learn one of these days. We all had to go through this. He's got to grow up. He's just like, please, come on.
I agree with you as we keep moving.
I guess.
We got to help him. Come on, he's not like the others. His wings are broken. What is he going to learn?
What can we do?
He's 70 feet up.
Dan starts to climb. He just starts to jump up. Can you help me? Do you have anything? You're a Dragonborn.
I can't straight up fly. You have to glide.
You have to glide first, but if you fall, you can easily glide off. If we get you up to him, you could grab him.
So I'm going to glide down and then go up somehow? Yes?
He's continuing to climb, and he says,
All right,
come
Dan.
on, guys.
I take my spear and I try and hit... I'm trying...
Put him out of his misery.
No, I try to throw my... Well, no, that wouldn't work really, would it?
What if we attach
I
the
try
rope?
to throw my spear like in front of him and say, grab the spear to stop yourself. Like,
Okay, go ahead and roll an attack to see how accurate it can be.
Just like, he's like going this time on so we can like and grab it.
Okay.
Alright. Well, that's 7 plus 14.
What's your strength?
Plus 3.
Okay, it sort of like impales some of the stone, and it comes shattering off as it is embedded like 15 feet away from him. It missed, but it made the distance.
Grab.
It's like, do you have another? Dan sort of like looks down at you, and he's like, do you have another one? I can calm your mind.
I guess I call my spear back then. Zero. Comes back to me. It's bonded, so it's like, yeah, it's just.
That's amazing. And he's just sort of like puts his hand gently on sort of like under your chin and up the back of his fingers are up the back of your neck, and he starts breathing slowly.
This is so weird. This is not calming.
All right, try again. And you feel this calming sense, sort of like the light is dampened in your view.
I feel calm after he moves his hand away, like, oh, thank
And
God.
you now have inspiration.
Thank God he moved his hand hard. I can throw now. I can concentrate. Inspiration. What does inspiration do again?
Are you kidding me? You roll a second time at advantage.
Okay,
roll at advantage.
Okay.
Welcome to D&D.
It's even less than before. It's a 13.
So you would take the higher of the two numbers.
Yeah, the last one was like a less than that.
Dan goes to you, Card, and he goes, actually, no. He looks at you, Voro, and he goes, I can't do this often, but you do have wings. I can give you an incredible leap. You'll be able to leap at least half the distance.
Fine, do it.
He just sort of starts muttering and sort of like starts humming, and the sort of like reverberation or sort of like meets your lungs in your body, and it starts sort of like vibrating mildly but very pleasantly, and you feel a bit stronger. Now jump has been cast on you.
Okay.
Your jump distance is tripled.
Try it. I guess I'd try and...
For something like this, I would say you can use your bonus action to like use your wings to go.
I'll do that.
Oh, the newest feature is there.
Things are going black.
Okay, yes, I jump towards as close as I can towards him. Use my wings to just try and grab him, I guess.
Okay, roll an acrobatics check. Roll. Yeah, just one acrobatics check at advantage. And Dan looks at you, Card, and he goes, heroic.
Same roll.
15 every time. 11
Plus?
4. 11 plus 4 is
No, 11 plus 4.
Oh, okay. So even at a 15, it's you're level 7. 15 is pretty good for level 7. 10 is an average person. 15 is close to a college level athlete. And so you, with one press of your wings, land on the roofs 3 tiers up. Another press of your wings, definitely land. One more. How do you sort of catch him as he's sort of like spinning around now in this sort of like lulling state?
grab
As
any
one
body
wing.
part I can. If his foot, I grab his foot and just...
Okay, and you sort of like roll a sleight of hand check just to see sort of like how accurately you can grab him.
Oh, is that's 19.
19. Oh, okay.
To grab
yeah.
him, I get high, but to get up there, it's like...
A strong and nimble grab. You just sort of like grab the back of his wing that's like continuing to flap, and you just sort of like hold it still as you sort of like bellow out your 2 wings and sort of gently glide yourself down. You can sort of land wherever you want at this point.
As close to everybody as I can and just take the jets off his back. Like, nah, stop it.
No, please put them back.
But the wings are
Please,
still
no.
there. Just these jets there. They're still going.
My brother made them for me. Can I please have them?
You can have them. Just don't put them on your back. Toss them to him.
I won't now. Now I gotta repair this. Ollie's gonna be furious. Thank you. What are your guys' names? And he's this.
What's your name first?
I'm Sparks. I'm the newsboy around here. I know pretty much something about everything.
The dark glacier, the scary glacier place. What is it?
Can I get your names first?
Voro.
I like to know who I'm dealing with.
You see me sitting on a bench. I'm Card, man.
And his he's got copper dragon scales. Some are missing, and his sort of like part of his eye is sort of like closed over from being bruised, and he's sort of like barely standing up, and Dan is just sort of like grabs part of his wing gently and sort of like holds him up a little bit to talk to you. And I'm Dan. Nice to meet you. Man, that was a hell of a flight. It was, yeah, I don't know what happened. My brother's been missing for some time now, and he's the one who normally repairs these. He made them for me.
Brother missing. Oh, we're already on another quest, so maybe when we come back.
You said the Dark Glaciers?
Yeah. Unless he's there. Maybe we can knock it out. 2 birds with 1 rocket pack.
One rocket.
I do know quite a bit
Do you have
about
any-
the Dark Glaciers.
Do you have any extra rockets by the chance? Those are interesting little devices.
Just these. My brother invented them. I can fix them, but I can't make them from scratch, unfortunately. I've been trying to learn. But Ollie's been missing for a few days now. He originally left to try and to get something to help me.
You gonna be honest with us and tell us what it is, or just say get something?
I can't, not right now. He trusted me with this information. Perhaps a little farther in, maybe after we've sort of talked a little bit, and I know I can trust you.
So we're risking our lives.
This is my
for
brother
someone
here.
We're risking our lives for no trust right now.
I didn't ask you to help just yet. You said you were going there already.
And you didn't ask for our help just now when we helped you.
Because you have hearts of gold.
Not really.
Now it's flesh. It's definitely flesh.
Well, either way, the Dark Glaciers are not a place to be casually waltzing in. Where are you guys going?
We're going to get some crystal meth flow.
And Dan butts in. He goes, "Yeah, it's for my daughter. I'm looking to make a dress."
Delilah.
As bags are under his eyes and he looks a bit skinnier than normal.
Looks a bit gone.
And the kid goes, "I mean, I can get you there. I can get you inside, or at least to a path inside of the Dark Glaciers. It's kind of treacherous on the way." Nice, I think you got it.
Well then.
What you have to look out for, though, are the Jag Wad.
Let's walk and talk, Sparks. Let's go. You can come along with us. We may run into your brother while we're down there. We may not. We'll just come along instead. We'll decide when we get there.
Okay. And he goes, I really wanted to repair my wings, but I think time is of the essence at this point.
Yeah.
He looks at Dan and he's like, "Oh man, you need something to cover you up. I think it's blizzarding right now. No one knows how long they last for." And he starts to sort of like walk, and like he tries his wings one more time, and they just utterly fail. So he walks along in front of you guys. He's like, "Thank you guys. By the way, I'll get you there. And if you happen to find my brother, please let me know. And bring him back safely." And so he starts going sort of like...
Hold on 1 second, Sparks. But can we have one of your jets just to prove to your brother that we... or something of yours that he will know is yours, so he knows that it's us? That it's you that sent us?
Like a note? Yeah, like a...
Instead of just like,
Oh,
strangers.
Roll a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Job. Better be 2 natural 20s. Hey, there's 1 natural 20.
And a 13. Let's see, persuasion. So, I'm goodness. So, 17. It could be one of your wings that doesn't work or whatever. Just give us something that he knows he would give to you or something.
If you make it back safely, I'll give you the whole pack. Ollie will be able to make another one for me.
I don't want the whole pack when we get back. I need something to prove that we know you when we find him.
He'll trust you well enough. If you just tell him Spark sent you, and your hearts are pure, I'm sure he'll...
Definitely flesh and blood.
Pure flesh and blood.
Yes.
I'm sure he'll have no issue trusting you. So long as you truly don't mean any harm. You saved me. I'm pretty sure you're the good guys here.
Okay, sure. Let's get there. Let's get there.
So there's like the passage into, as you're sort of arcing around the central square, you see the massive passage into the Lendis sort of like mercantile entertainment area. And he leads you to the right of that, where you sort of see this stream spilling out of Lendis Passage and joining into this much larger sort of current of waterfall. And he says, "This is the first path," and it's sort of like almost immediately goes outside of Marahute, as it's just like you look over and you can see that this pale blanket of snow is just covering the eastern passage, and it starts to almost quickly turn into a blizzard, because the water that you pass through is ice cold, and you see that there's this sort of like stone trail along the outside that continues to curve in and out before it disappears.
Are there any merchants next to us?
No. Spark says that they are further down. There's a more significant path. We just have to make it past this one first.
All right. Let's go then.
All right. And it's not super difficult for you guys. Like for somebody who's never climbed before or never done any physical activity, it would be. But there's enough sort of like footfall. There's no ice or snow on this path just yet. It's still solid rock. As you continue along for like 15, 20 minutes, it starts to, as you round the corner that you couldn't see before, it starts to be like stone step down stone step in sort of this like stone path where you can see these tents set up as they follow a path for a good like 50 meters for our international folks. Before it starts to get a bit more treacherous. You can start to see like small snowflakes falling down as the snow begins, and you can see sort of like ice start to form as well on a path that continues along a mountainside that's just getting larger and larger and larger. And like as soon as are you guys stepping down, I imagine?
Yeah.
As soon as you guys step down, you guys are just like berated, as not many people come down this path very often. You see sort of like small, older dragonborn women like, come this way. This charm will keep you safe throughout the path. And you see this sort of like older black dragonborn gentleman with his like kids and like, no, come over here. I've got the cloaks that will keep you warm through any weather. And you see sparks just sort of like fly down and start to talk amongst them and sort of like, no, come on. Like these guys are with me. And he looks back at Dan and you just sort of see him muttering and talking in Draconic amongst the fellow offering cloaks. And he like gets one, gets two, gets three, and he sort of like throws one at Dan, throws one at you two, and they're made out of white, not dragon scales, but like wyvern scales. And he says, all right, guys, I know that you are going to make it back. This is really like a borrowing circumstance here. I don't have enough money to pay him, but we're on good terms, so he trusts me. If you find anything out there of plentiful and valuable, I just ask that you come and
now we got
pay Gorlock here.
Another task on top of the task.
I kind of look at the cloak and be like, so this cloak is made out of sort of a kind of a part of my bloodline, I guess, since I am a white dragonborn and these are white dragon weaver.
I'm sorry, that was a fuck up on my part. You're totally good. You don't need one.
It's like these are my ancestors.
Yeah, you're fine. He only gets two. For you and Dan sort of like puts it around and he's like rubbing his hand along it, like rubbing it on his face. He like bites it, and he's just floored. He's like, this is the finest cloak I've ever owned.
You almost went Irish there.
Huh? No, I didn't.
Almost.
This is the finest cloak I've ever owned. Yep. This is the finest piece of clothing my village has ever seen. This is incredible. And he's just sort of like throws it on immediately and sort of like throws his arms out, is sort of like strutting his stuff. Starts jumping in the snow and rolling around a little bit. I don't feel anything.
You will admit it. If you keep stopping in the snow. Is resistance or immunity to cold damage?
It is resistance to frost damage, and you don't need to, like, it keeps you warm enough that you don't have to worry about trailing through the snow. Like it emanates warmth throughout your entire body. So all of your clothes that you're currently wearing, or all of your equipment that you're currently wearing, is like good to go.
Okay, well, never mind. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, so what do you guys?
Is there any person that might be selling potions.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Investigation 20.
Natural?
No, not natural.
Oh, it was.
Wait, no, hold on. I'm on a different character there. I was investigation skills.
It's intelligence.
Sorry, 18.
Do you guys hear anything?
Huh?
Do
I
you
hear
see
that?
anything?
Yeah.
The-
Yeah, so me taking a shower.
No, not that. I'm sorry. Like from the speaker.
Oh, yeah, there's music playing.
What
Yeah,
that?
it's really low.
Maybe you're really low. Hmm? You ever think about that? Hmm? Hmm? Yeah, it's just like horses shuffling in the night.
There we go. All right. Yeah, you find somebody who like potions weren't the first thing that they were selling. They were selling like trinkets and necklaces and like other items that are supposed to protect from the cold. And it's sort of like a younger woman. It seems like she's sort of new to this, a younger, also white-scaled dragonborn. And she goes, you're looking for potions, yes?
Yes, of the healing variety.
I go past Card and be like, I got this. Hello, fellow dragonborn of...
You're not from Merahute, are you?
No.
We know Sparks though.
Yeah, and Spark sort of like leans over from a conversation he's having with one of the other merchants, and he goes, "Oh yeah, Eloa, they're okay. They saved me actually. I didn't know if I was going to make it." And she goes, "Oh right then, Sparks, you cute one, you. For saving him, I will give you a discount on the last potions that I have. 100 for 2.
How much do you have?
Dude, do I have that? No, not in the slightest. I can give you 9 of that. But that's about
Anything that I would be able to take into the city and trade would be accepted as well.
I will give her 100 gold pieces.
Nice doing business with you." And she sort of like turns around, like unwraps a leather wrap and gives you 2 glowing normal healing potions.
Normal.
Do you say that?
Yeah, I do.
Look.
Thanks. I'm out.
Okay, all right. And
I'll take that 6 gold there.
You just hear
I only
the
have
sort of like
9.
clink,
I
clink,
said
clink
9.
of
Oh,
counting.
9? Then I will take it.
Of counting.
Why would you take my 9 gold?
Because I have just spent all of my gold. So if you want a potion...
On potions.
Okay, good. Then fine. You don't owe me anything. These are mine. Good knowing you, bro.
You're gonna need that. You're usually the one up front fighting, so you're gonna take most
You're
of
right.
the damage.
I am going to be doing most of everything.
Dan sort of like shuffles up behind you and he goes like, "Are you some kind of like baron or something from a kingdom? A duke? A lord of something? That's the most gold I've ever seen."
Man, you're learning a lot of things today, Dan. No, I'm a traveling, zealot. I make my gold where I can. Save it up. Nothing really to spend it on.
A zealot of who? Who do you praise?
Don't worry about it.
Well, all right. Fuck.
It's no one bad.
You guys always impress me. Hearts and pockets of gold. Onward. And he starts sort of like,
Have you heard of the Traveler?
the traveler?
Traveler Con's coming up.
And you sort of see like the snow gets thicker and thicker, and Sparks goes, I'll take you towards Valorous Light. As soon as we get there, I'll depart. The path should be more defined by that point. Follow me. And he sort of like wades ahead of you. And you see him like absentmindedly trying to sort of like fix his wings as well at this point. Like getting bolts and different pieces from his pocket and like sifting through them, turning them around in his hand and like getting excited, sort of like putting one in. About an hour goes by. It goes from a light snow, and you start to see sort of like what was once very visible peaks in front of you. It starts to get denser and denser with white and snow, and the snow is just coming down at this point. It's hard to see in front of you, but you do see this sort of like flickering blue light in the distance, and that's all you can see as sort of like this like a visible anchor of to orient you in this space, as well as sparks just leading the way in front of you. Another about 10 minutes pass as Dan is sort of like wrapping himself fully in his cloak. Are you guys doing anything as you're
Not really. I usually keep to myself when traveling.
I guess, what can I do? I can't really do anything with a healer's kit, can I?
Just doing, just checking the surroundings. Anything of interest.
okay? Roll a perception check. So it's hard to see almost anything. You'd have
At
to like
advantage.
very. Really?
12.
It's hard to make out. It's like hard to hear anything outside of the, and it's hard to see anything outside of that one blue light that's getting larger and higher. You can barely see the top of the highest peak of the dark glaciers, way above. And Sparks throughout this entire time is trying to tell you as much history as he can of this place. And he was just saying that the Jag Wad Valrith actually brought them from a lost continent to guard this place. It's said, I believe it, that there was an incursion of drow in Illithid. They had dug up from the Underdark here, and this snow only exists because the elemental breathed his icy breath across the entirety of these peaks and sealed them. Miles of caves, frozen over entirely. The Jag Wad he put here to guard these dark glaciers in the event that another incursion ever happened. But they're bestial creatures.
The Jag Wad?
Yeah.
What do they look like?
In common tongue, they're called the Draco Yetis.
Not what I was thinking.
And so, I've never seen one personally. I've seen them depicted in some children's books before, meant to scare us from not coming here and staying away as best as possible. They've got faces elongated of scales, similar to Dragonborn, but more bestial and wide, longer fangs. They've got coats of fur, white as this snow here, and they're as tall as giants.
How do we kill them?
I don't know. They're sacred to this land. We try and respect them, I suppose, and we fear them too.
If one comes at me, I'm gonna kill it.
All I would warrant is that there are some that have Valorith's sign on them. They're supposed to be a bit more
Do they talk?
intelligent than the regular Jag Wad. But I've never met them before. I don't even know if that is true.
Well, all right. We'll let you know what we find, little bro.
I just hope that they didn't get Ollie.
Oxenfree.
And they don't like things to be taken from here, from what I've heard. They don't like anything to be taken from here.
They're selfish.
I pick up some snow and I put it in my pocket.
You're... It said that they take Valorith's edict very seriously. They're here to serve him and him alone. And so they don't like fire. They don't like anything to be stolen. I hope that your business is either sightseeing or very stealthy. I don't know what you're good at, but if you see big footsteps, you keep as much to yourself as you can.
We'll send them your way.
They tend to stay away from Marahute, from what I've heard.
Good.
Do you know an exact distance? Say if we were to hypothetically take.
Oh, they could be
something.
here like right now.
Good. Good. I like being watched.
Maybe run
But
away.
I just hope that they don't exist. I hope that Drow don't exist either.
They exist.
I hope they're not as evil as everybody says.
Your nightmares are true.
He sort of like gets quiet a little bit, and you see you start to see the blue light become very visible, and you start to see it sort of like bask its blue light over this silhouetted statue of this tall, maybe like 13 feet tall dragonborn, holding all of the color has been lost from the statue, so it's just this sort of like pale marble with one hand holding this giant bowl, maybe like 15 feet in diameter, with this crackling blue flame sort of coming out of it. And you see in front of him, as the statue is holding out its hand, there is a sword in its palm, and there is this form sort of kneeling that fits the description of the Jag Wandi almost perfectly, almost as though it's being knighted or gifted this thing, or just sort of like an exchange of some sort happening. And you do notice that the bowl is a different material than the stone itself, and the the snow doesn't actually make it inside, so it's just like sort of burning this steam that's coming off of it from the top.
It's like a plaque on this.
You can roll an I guess investigation check.
Natural.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the language that you read or that you have?
Like all languages. Like, would that be under features traits?
Yeah.
I can speak common and undercommon.
So you can't read this, but you point it out to Sparks, and you effectively just go like, hey, well, like, what does that say? And Sparks reads it aloud, and he goes, this is Valrith deeming the Jag Wandi worthy of guarding he says like some word that you can't understand. It's not Dark Glaciers. You imagine that that's probably just a name that this place has been given. As he entrusts the entirety of these lands to them, all resources, everything is there so long as they keep their pact with the Elemental King.
Is there a... It's like this one looks important since he's given him a sword. Is there a name, or is it just Valrith?
Valrith is the Dragonborn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the Jag Wand, is there a name for this specific Jag Wand?
There is. It is. It's Jagawandar. It's like Mandalore to the Mandalorians. So Jagawandar is being offered a sword to protect the lands of the name that you can't recognize. And like even Sparks has a hard time reading it.
Important.
You roll an intelligence check.
Oh, I'm good at those. I'm real good at those. Ooh, 17.
You imagine it might be the original name of whatever like civilization Dan was talking about that was guarding it, because like the Jagwandi and the Drow and whatever didn't have anything to do with this place thousands of years ago, sort of like a recent occurrence. And so this is it's such a foreign name out of all of the dialects and the languages that you've ever heard that you sort of might put together that that's probably what it alludes to. And you hear
Is there a direction of this?
and
Growling?
you it's roll a perception check. As you start to hear
22.
you start to see these like glowing blue eyes in the to the right of the statue, and you start to see sort of like mist sort of billow out of these snarling teeth of a winter wolf. And Sparks goes, "Oh no! Oh, I should have just pointed at this thing and let you guys do your work. The winter wolves are here. Thankfully they're not Jagwandi, but you guys got this, right?" And Dan goes like,
I grab him and I throw him to the wolf and I go, scatter!
"Do you really?"
No, what the fuck? That was chaotic evil.
And you hear, and sort of like the wings start flapping again on Sparks's back, and you hear as like one,
I mean,
Those
two,
those
like,
things
move.
didn't last very
three.
long last time, so why is he flying like? I thought they were broken.
You don't know quite how they broke the first time. You imagine it was just like through time or wear and tear. But he has been like throughout this sort of like hour and a half long trip, just been like tinkering with them and trying to fix them in some ways. And he's just like, they could be ready, they could not be ready. He just throws them on his back, and it's like the most mobile he knows how to be, if that makes sense. And so you now card, you hear these 4 different growls around you, and you can see these glowing blue eyes in almost a perfect perimeter around you guys. You have one thing that you can do, and Dan sort of stands in front of Sparks and gets into a defensive position, and he says, "You leave this to me, little buddy." Roll initiative as a
Rage.
winter wolf leaps at you, the first one that you had seen.
13.
13.
What?
Who has the higher dexterity?
I
That's a +1.
have also a +1. I have a 13.
Roll again.
If it's 13 is
19.
and way less.
I will be going first.
After the NPCs.
Yeah, after the NPCs, of course.
Okay. I'm sorry. What did you? Who rolled higher the second time? I was
I
rolling
did.
mine. Okay. All right. The first wolf from the right leaps at you, and let's just do a simple little.
I have something for this.
This is the statue, I guess. Do you guys have minis that you can use?
Oh, wait a minute. I have
Not for card. Just use her check.
I guess, yeah, barbarians. This is very off-putting, but it's going to be sparks. You guys came from this direction.
Can I use my reaction as a part of my polearm master to kind of...
The horses are the wolves. I'm working with what I got here. Just yay. Man, I don't have anything that fits Dan. A homeless man. Actually, this is Dan.
That guy's been a lot recently.
Yeah. Okay. First wolf.
Again, I want to use my reaction.
Is going to leap at Dan. Do you want to use your reaction to protect Dan?
No, to protect me.
Alright.
Nay. I mean, grrr.
Natural 18 super hits Dan. He already took up a defensive position and is going to use his reaction to just sort of like, as the wolf comes at him, he's going to lean back as deftly as you saw him in the tavern and just sort of like put his palm and lift up the jaw of the wolf and put his other palm underneath the wolf's chest and just guard him across. It didn't seem like he put enough pressure to thrust the wolf, but just definitely guided him out of his way. The wolf sort of like falls into the snow, rights itself once more, and leaps at him again. Reaction is done. The wolf definitely didn't roll enough, but his third attack hits for sure, and Dan is going to take 8 points of damage. And sort of like bites into Dan's leg. And the next wolf is up. Going to go after you, Card. And what are you doing?
So I can only use my like hilt of the halberd. So I'm just gonna be like, bat! Right if it's like in its mouth, like try to trying to fend it off or just like, bat it away.
Okay, just like stick it into its mouth and get like right in like at the top of its mouth, and you definitely feel sort of like the blunt end hit meat and go in about an inch as you. It's got a second attack on you.
I have a second reaction on it.
No, you don't. But it rolled a 3, and so it just sort of like leaps at you once more time. You see this sort of like almost like ice crystals forming at its mouth as it passes you once more. Card, you are now up.
Cool. Is it right next to me still?
Yes, it is.
Cool. I'm gonna take 2 reckless, great weapon master attacks at it.
Okay, go for it. Every character has that.
Yep, now every character has it. My 2 characters. Wow, those are terrible rolls. Absolutely garbage. I don't even think I'm gonna hit, to be honest. First one's gonna be a 12.
Misses.
Second one. Ooh, natural 19.
Yeah, first one misses. Second one hits, as with your halberd, you sort of like cross along its side as it runs past you once more, and you notice that its hide is very thick, and it's almost like ice has prevented you from meeting meat.
And then so it's gonna be 12 points of bludgeoning damage with 5 points. We're gonna say I'm gonna put necrotic on this bad boy.
You can just choose?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. First attack misses, passes along, can't quite break the ice sort of like hide of it. Whirl your halberd around once more, muttering whatever you need to make the blade turn deep, deep black in the night, almost helping you keep track of your attacks, and you just insert it, slicing it. You can see the ice boiling away as flesh underneath also starts to boil.
And I'm going to do bonus action to pike it again with my hilt.
Okay.
Damn. That's my strength. 5 points.
Don't you have to roll to attack?
Do I?
I think you do.
Oh, we'll do it then. We'll do it. Natural 20.
Holy fuck. And it was 5 points of damage?
Yeah. Now 10.
Okay.
Watch out.
Your blade
For the hilt.
slices through its sort of like the flat of its back, and then continuing with the blade going through, you spin it around and knock it in its head, and it's just dazed down onto the ground. Just in the snow, and it's already being covered with like snow. That's how thick and quickly this blizzard is spilling snow onto
It would
you.
have been 18 points of bludgeoning damage. I forgot to add the plus 10 for Great Weapon Master.
It doesn't get back up as you have crushed with the least dangerous part of your weapon. You've crushed its head in as sort of like brain matter flies across the snow, pattering into it, and it lays lifeless.
One down.
Voro, you're up.
What's closest to me, I guess?
Probably the one attacking Dan.
That's super far away. That's
It's still close.
That horse is a bad thing.
Yes, the horse is a bad thing. I'm sorry. All of the four-legged creatures on the battle map are winter wolves in your theater of your mind.
Yes. That chicken is Sparks.
That chicken is Sparks.
Is that a chicken? Jesus.
It's a cockatrice.
Jesus.
I guess I'll go to that wolf that's next to Dan, and I will use the poison spray cantrip on him.
Okay. It rolls something, I imagine?
Constitution saving throw.
All right.
Make it 13.
With a natural 20, it definitely leaps out of the way. The spray barely missing its sort of ice-coated fur.
So I get to make a bonus. I get to make a bonus physical attack against it.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna attack it with my Morning Star.
That thing just keeps rolling 11s.
So it's 11 plus. I can put the 7. So
18?
18.
Hits. Yeah.
Yay.
As you almost like spray it into your line of attack to sort of like control its movement, you go ahead and roll damage.
D8 plus 4. Let's see what that does.
Ooh.
So 7 points of damage.
Okay. Next up. Third one is... the third wolf is going to attack you, Voro. As you see its glowing blue eyes just get larger and larger and larger before its body finally reveals itself through the storm, leaping through the air, teeth, long fangs being revealed, sort of like, again, the ice billowing from its mouth. And it's going to sort of, you see its, through its mouth comes this, not so much a dragon breath, but it just seems like this icy cold sort of wind wafts on you and Dan. Go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw.
A nice cold breeze.
Dan will as well.
4.
A 4? Dan rolled a natural 1. So you, Dan, sort of like you see his skin get more pale as sort of like ice crystals form along the length of his arms. Still sort of like resolute in his look and form, but he's sort of slowed for this moment. You are too. Your movement speed is halved.
I'm resistant to cold
Oh, I'm sorry. God, I keep forgetting you're a white scaled dragonborn.
Immune
The
resistance
damage
to
that you
cold.
already take is halved, and also the damage that Dan takes is halved. Actually, no, it's going to be regular because he rolled natural 1. So it's like he sort of like flipped the cloak over his shoulder, revealing his full body. And
Ow!
These people are geniuses.
these people are geniuses.
We've
Dan's
lived in the cold for so long, but we always die. We
Dan's
don't know how to
a
survive
sort of
that.
like a simpleton. 12 points reduced to 6 for you. Full 12 for Dan.
Yikes.
As he's already taken some damage already. And that's going to be the wolf's move. Is it's sort of like in its leap is and its paws land in the snow, sliding towards you. The next wolf is up. And it is going to go after you, Card. Roll a strength saving throw as it sinks its teeth into your forearm.
That's 20.
And you just throw it off with your wrist. You just like, it sinks its teeth in and you like lift it up as it's sort of like, it's already a larger wolf than typical ones. You just lift it right up and throw it off, sliding into the snow next to the already unconscious one, but not taking any damage or anything. And that was its turn. So Sparks is up and he says, whatever you do, be quiet. This place is known for avalanches. Keep everything you do quiet. And he just sort of like starts to get behind you, Card, as you've shown yourself to be sort of like the most withstanding so far.
Yell, hey, I bet.
Hey, Dan is going to roll at disadvantage towards the first wolf that attacked him. And manages to almost disappear from his spot, and like you see his body shift like 5 feet as his knuckle embeds itself directly into the bottom of the wolf's sort of like jugular, and you're as the wolf is shot back 5 feet, and he's going to do that one more time. And the wolf takes a very shitty amount of damage.
Low level monks, man.
What'd you say?
Low level monks.
Not super low. And then he's going to do it one more time. Same. Wow, same roll at disadvantage. And does it one more time. And so you just see this like a little bit better. As the wolf's like shoulder is broken in, it almost caved in, and it's sort of hopping on 3 legs right now, and pushed back another 5 feet. And he says, "Don't worry, Sparks, I gotcha." That first wolf is up one more time. Okay, so it's going to roll.
As we look back and Sparks is being mauled.
Oh no. Not Sparks.
Crap, save him. Never mind.
Dan's bonus action puts him in a sort of like, you start to see the steam rise off his body as the shards sort of like disappear, the ice crystals along his skin. And the wolf is going to jump at him once more. Misses the first one as Dan just sort of like definitely moves out of the way again and and sort of like flesh or teeth meet flesh for the second one. And he's going to take... Aha! Just 7 points of damage. Next up, Card.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and attack the one that just tried to bite me. Yeah. With the combo.
All right. Let it loose.
The catch me outside.
20,
combo?
not natural for the first one.
Catch me outside. Catch me in a blizzard. How about that?
And then a natural 20 for the second
A
one.
natural 20. How do you want to do this?
I want to just cut off you know me, man. Always cut off the head.
As the wolf sort of like, as you sort of like pushed it away from you and just threw it to the side, it slid in the snow, got itself back up, sort of like stepped back a few more feet to get enough distance between you that it starts running and getting enough speed and just jumps at you, teeth gnarling right in front of you, sort of like glistening in the snow. And you just sort of like, from anyone else, it just looks like you crouched and you heard blade low, a crescent of blood around you in one direction, almost like highlighting your position, and the wolf lands, body in the snow, head rolling off.
And then I'll knock that over for you. Actually,
Thank you.
Can you place it with a horse, so then we know it's not a horse anymore? I mean, the horse.
Replace it with. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like just the. Yeah. Now we know there's two
So
wolves.
you're a horse killer.
You're a horse killer.
You are the horse killer.
You're the horse killer. Look at the two horses.
No, you kill
dead.
horses all the time.
Two horses dead next to you. Look at
That's
that.
a different person, okay?
Anyways,
Yes.
In a different way.
with
Way to go.
I'm gonna move right next to Voro and use my bonus action to like with my hilt.
Okay.
I don't know if I could do this reckless or not. I don't think it because it's a
I
bonus
don't
action.
think that you can.
Yeah, let's say where it's not.
For future reference, I would just read the feature, because that's what it's going to be under,
I'll read it here in a second.
and your bonus
I miss
action.
it. I miss it.
Okay.
Only a 9.
Okay. Voro, you're up.
I summon an army man. I'm just joking. So I'm gonna take this wolf in front of me, and I am going to use.
Yeah, it's just a normal attack.
So it's a firebolt. So I'm gonna use
Firebolt.
firebolt on it.
Okay.
So make it, I guess, a ranged attack on it, and I'm also then after that I'm gonna hit it with my Morning Star. So I'm just gonna
Dat.
see. So fire spell, physical thing.
There's the blue. Okay.
Fire
Oh.
physical. So it's fine.
At least your firebolt hit.
Yeah, that hit. So that's a 19 for the firebolt,
Hits.
and then a 14 for the mace.
14 for the mace. Just misses for the mace.
Ah, piss. So I had firebolt 2d10. So it was d10. D10. I can use this as a d10, I guess, as well. So let's see here. So that is. Oh. So that is. Wait, hold on. I do get a plus, I believe. Nope, it's just 13.
13 points of damage.
Yeah. 13 points of fire damage. So now it's melting the ice on him.
Yeah, its AC decreases by 2 as you start to see steam rise from the wolf as this firebolt shoots in, crosses the blizzard, and you see steam raise in its trail as steam starts to curl off of the winter wolf as well as it impacts, lighting the way a little bit, shining on the statue a little bit more. That's all you got?
Name. Never mind, actually.
Yeah,
I'm going to have
that's
to beep that out.
Wait, what? What did you say?
No, we'll call this Tak Bukake. Yeah, take it out.
Steamy.
Steamy
Just because,
Bukake.
yeah. There's a scene
Not
in
that
an
it's
anime,
obscene, but that it just
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, there's a scene in anime where this person does that exact same thing and they call it that. And it's like, it makes no sense, but it's hilarious.
Okay. Next up, that same wolf is going to.
it's not dead yet. Kill it.
I keep missing on my attacks. What do you think? Like it's like.
Get good, man.
I mean, the wolves are like pressing themselves to the ground, like hopping to the side, you know.
I always roll good on things out of combat. Not
The
in
ones that
combat.
just been more bold with you card, you know? And it's going to attack you. It's the same one that you had shot fire at. It's going to sort of like roll the fire off of its hide and then jump with its teeth and claws at you as it's just going to try and rip into you. First one, 16?
No.
Doesn't. Okay. What kind of armor are you wearing?
Nothing's gonna
I have
touch
half
him.
plate.
You have plate?
Half plate.
Half plate. So,
It's just like the plate right here with the green things right there.
sure, I don't know what to get from that, but it's like it presses its teeth into your chest, and they're just not significant enough to bite through. So it's like, but you feel the weight of the wolf's head press into you, and you just sort of like roll your chest to the side, crossing along your plate fucking armor.
I guess it's like it's
Plate armor,
it's
bro.
It's like Shield Hero's armor basically. Like it has the plate right here. He has arm guard, and shin guards. That's all he has basically.
Getting a little brighter this time. Does an 18 hit you?
No.
How does half plate?
Because I have all. Let's see. I have half plate, and then I have dexterity bonus, armor bonus, and shield bonus.
You know he always has a shield. Every character has a shield.
Do you have a shield?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I have a shield?
As it rushes towards your unarmored hamstring, before it can even notice you, your shield passes down below, and it's just donk.
My creamy hamstring.
My creamy hamstrings. All right, Sparks is going to in the clash on your shield sort of has this like gung, 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 and you're come from far off in the distance, and up, and Sparks is like, this is supposed to be the Everflame. It won't get skin, but it'll prevent it'll prevent snow and ice. And he just sort of like flies like almost dumbly up to the bowl, and he sort of like grabs in and sort of like rolls himself inside of the bowl. And he says, I'm preparing for the worst. And Dan is up next. He is going to sort of like do a similar rush and try and grab the wolf. Okay, wolf rolled a natural 1 and Dan rolled a 3. So Dan just sort of like uppercuts him with his grasp, grabs the wolf's jugular, and with his bonus action, he is going to crush it.
Ooh.
Man, these pack dice are not rolling well these days.
They lost their luck, their charm, their cheating
but-
ability.
Their cheating ability. It looks like I need to put them in the oven again.
Little do you know, we put some rubber cement on one side of them.
Yeah.
Little
You and you hear "Grrr!" crushes its windpipe, throws it towards you guys.
Ooh.
So
One left.
and it feebly gets up and
Attack of opportunity,
goes
slap.
like you feel this like wolf cry trying to escape this scratchy ruined jugular, and it's just like it sounds awful going into the air, and you hear another
All right. Well, I think we need to move now.
and it's got 1 hit point left.
I kick it.
And you're up.
I kick it. Recklessly.
Okay.
Miss.
And I go for it. I slip, and then while I'm falling, I hit it. I didn't roll a natural 1, but one of them was a natural 1. So
I'll say that as you sort of like
there, natural 20. just oh.
So as you raise your foot back or up, however you want to kick it, your vision catches the silhouette of the mountain, sort of become amorphous to some degree as you notice the tip is like expanding outward and like coming down, and you just through the 6 seconds that you have, that one misses because you didn't even take it. Then panic sets in, and you have to fucking finish these guys as quickly as possible, and you just curb stomp this wolf, and its brain matter goes beneath your foot and into the snow underneath. Warmth sort of sets into your boot a bit. You don't even notice it as this you see this rolling.
We gotta go, guys. Snow right now. Where are we going? We gotta go.
So
gotta go.
You are looking up and to the right as the mountain ascends. You really only have down to go to escape this avalanche as you hear this rolling.
Maybe we could just take shelter behind the statue.
And you see Spark start to like flap his wings. He's grabbing the outside of the bowl, and he's going, "This is the only way. This is the only way." And he's like, we gotta push this thing, guys. And you see the bowl just like lift up.
Okay, I'm helping. I'm going up, and I'm gonna help.
Okay, it's 15 feet in the air.
Moro, come on!
Just got one wolf down here.
They're dead. No, they're all dead.
No, there is one wolf still alive.
You handle it. I've killed all of them.
As it goes, and it's sort of like, and starts just like running down as best as it can.
All right,
and out.
Climb it. Dan!
Prepare for the ice.
Dan, help!
Oh,
Dan, help! Help!
Hold on.
Prepare for the ice limit, Morty. Prepare for the ice limit.
Prepare the ice limit.
We gotta cut it open and get
We
inside.
gotta get inside the wolf.
I mean, they are large, but I don't think any of you guys except for Sparks could fit inside. So, what are you doing to try and push the bowl over?
Is there? So it's a bull, right? So it's like a person's holding it. I'm trying to get on the bicep and kind of like give myself some purchase, and then I'm gonna help lift it, just push it over.
Okay. You guys have 30 seconds right now.
Cool.
You have 2 things that you can do. Climbing is one, pushing is the other. Roll a. Actually, climbing will be easy enough. Roll a strength check. What are you doing, Barkir?
I guess since Dan is super far away, is he not gonna be able to get there in time?
Well, Dan can do it in one turn.
I'm like, I guess I'm going to
14 for me.
Try and run over and help push over this thing by like grabbing
That's
the
kinda
other
sad.
edge and just like.
It's like 15 feet in the air.
Yeah,
so the
that's what I'm
statue.
saying. Like if they're pushing this way, I'm gonna go like climb up, and just be like, try and.
Okay.
This person.
Go ahead and. I mean, you have to climb it and then jump.
Yeah.
So climbing will be fine. That'll just be half your movement, and then if you're grabbing it, you're grabbing onto it.
Like grabbing, like hanging, just like. trying
Okay.
like,
Also
as,
roll a strength check.
As they're pushing, I'm like pulling down. Yeah.
Okay. And Dan, you see sort of like hold his position and sink his feet into the snow and get in a deep sunk form. And he looks over his shoulder. He goes, "Oh no. Honya!" And he's sort of like, he thrusts his fist above him, and you see this like silhouette of his fist continue past and hit into the side. What did you roll?
I rolled a 15.
Dan is also.
Or sorry, I rolled a 14.
Dan also rolled a 15. What'd you roll?
17.
17? Okay, are you on Varkir's side or are you on Dan's side? Are you pushing it up or are you pulling it or what are you doing?
I'm pushing it up. Like I'm lifting it up like ah!
Okay, as you're sort of like on the bicep, like pushing it up, you find it's going, and as the wings, every flap of Spark's wings, it gets up even further, and then as you hear the it's sort of, and then Voro, you are like trying to push it down as best as you can. All of you guys sort of like in unison the hand of Valorith.
Sorry.
And now all of you roll a check as the snow is sort of like exploding out from under it and pushing some of you to the side that were on it. You need to make it in it. Yeah, you need to make it on top or inside, as it's sort of now just slowly like set into the snow and is rolling down.
When you make it inside,
You can either jump inside, and you can still see the steam coming off from the blue flames as Sparks is curled inside now and is like at the base. Dan is like running past the statue and grabbing on. What are you guys doing?
I'll do the same. I'll just try to run and grab onto it.
Okay. Are you pushing it, or what are you doing? Like, what?
I'll just follow Dan's lead here.
Okay.
I feel like it's rolling.
Hey, do I still have higher jump, or is that something?
No, that only lasted like a minute.
Okay. Well, then I'll just run after it and try and grab onto it.
Yeah, try to get inside, I suppose.
Okay. It's slowly moving forward as you're looking behind it. The avalanche of snow rolling over itself is getting closer and closer and closer. Roll another strength check, or however you want to push this thing to get it going faster. As Dan is like, you see his feet sinking into the snow as he's grabbing onto the edge and and he's like, "Hold on, Sparky!"
I guess I'm gonna go to like the kind of like the I guess the front basically, yeah, and just use my wings and just.
Are you like inside using your wings, or?
Yeah, I was like.
Okay.
Almost trying to fly, but just pushing.
Okay, roll a dexterity roll a dexterity check
22.
for strength.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
15.
Ooh. Let's
With acrobatics, it's an 18, but it's a 15.
You hear Sparks from below. Just go. I wish I had wings like that one day, Mr. Voro.
No, you don't.
And as he sees your wings pressing, sort of like it from his view, all he can see is your wings flapping and pressing, and this thing is just shooting forward now as behind him two sets of hands are curled onto it, just Card, you are just like kicking into the snow and pushing your shoulder into it and going to the side. Dan is pushing his shoulder against yours, and just like both of you are like in tandem. What are you doing? As your feet are starting to like it's starting to go down faster and faster.
Jump in it.
Okay.
We're jumping in it. We're jumping in it.
He's already in it. Only Dan and you are not in it.
I'm jumping in it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a athletics, as you have to sort of like pull yourself inside.
Oh, thank God. That could have been terrible. Athletics, 24.
Dan, you see sort of like is like pushing this way, shoulder against yours, and then he turns backwards and is pushing like his chest is facing the avalanche, and he's like, all right, meet me inside, and he pulls himself over and just slides right in.
So extra.
He rolled a natural 20.
That's so extra.
He rolled a natural 20. He's also a fucking monk. You rolled a 24?
Yeah.
Okay, you pretty much do the same thing as you try and mimic him, and you're just like, not as elegant, but still sort of with the same general form. You're sort of like, and roll yourself in as you slide into the base. And you guys are now pressing forward. You're the only one with a good view of what's going on as you're seeing this sort of like snow press past you. Being a white-scaled dragonborn, it's pretty easy for you. There's sort of like these lenses built into your eyes to where the snow isn't affecting your vision. And you can see a sort of like this dark form come up in front of you as this rock is jutting out.
Can I use my dragon breath and like make a ramp?
Okay, go ahead and roll. What would this be? Let's say like lung capacity. Roll a Constitution check.
You want to make us a ramp? You really want to make us a ramp here?
You can have something prepared just in case.
Suggest something like we're gonna.
I
do?
suggest not doing that.
Well, I can't really steer this thing, so what
I
are we
will
gonna do?
use my helmet
Where's
to
my-
kind of steer.
Steer with your halberd. Steer with your halberd. Steer.
I'll use it as like a rudder, like on a boat.
Yeah.
So you're leaning over the back and just sort of like
yeah.
Okay, so you're going to avoid it. You are going to jump it.
I'm not gonna do anything now. He's gonna avoid it.
Okay.
We're running into a rock here.
You got to roll a strength saving throw.
Oh, perfect.
As you are.
I'm still raging at this point.
You never raged.
I did rage. That when you said, "What do you guys do?"
Oh, you're like, I raged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come
I
on.
didn't think you got it off.
Come on.
Hold on. Do you have? What'd you roll?
Oh, I didn't roll a natural 20. I'm just waiting for you to finish your sentence here.
Do you have like continual rage or whatever it is? Like
it's normal rage. I don't have continuous rage until.
So you have to either damage yourself to keep it up or be damaged.
Well, I will.
Okay, then roll a.
I will take.
Actually,
my
you can.
halberd.
It's
I will like. Ha!
no. You can also just punch yourself, but so you'd add 1 plus your strength.
Okay, I just take 5 points of damage then.
All right, minus that from your health.
I'm
and
strong.
What did you roll?
I rolled a strength saving throw. Yeah.
Yeah.
26.
Snow is exploding from the base of your halberd as it's embedding into ice as well, and just ice chunks are hitting you in the face as you're leaning over. The bowl is like arced up. You are at the top, and you feel it like raise up as you are almost afraid that you're going to tip over. As Card is just like, and you see as water in a boat going incredibly fast is just thrusting out of the back. You see it arc to the left and
Hold on!
the side of the bowl scrapes the giant rock that you that was just in front of you. As it's still barreling down, you guys are like keeping in you're at equidistance continually so far with the avalanche behind you.
How tall is this avalanche?
You look behind you and you can no longer see the mountain. You just see this continually sort of like tsunami. I guess roll a perception check if you're no longer focused in front of you.
No, I just want to glancing back what I would see, I guess. So 17, yes.
Seems about 30 feet high,
kind of,
and you can't see the left and right.
Is this the kind of music that we want? As an avalanche is coming down onto us?
I'm trying to find something.
How fast we're going in my wings, would I be able to fly over
There we
that?
Didn't see this one coming.
No, you wouldn't. Not unless you had an extra force like Dan too. But it's like it's not just the height. Like it's a continual force pressing down the mountain. So
But like if we're going like this, if I go woo,
Just like that. Woo.
oh yeah, you could escape it.
but I just want to see like where we're going because I have no idea what's the bottom of this mountain.
Yeah,
Where
you
we're-
can't. So you can see like 20 feet. You can see like 30 feet. You can see large objects 30 feet in front of you. If it's a smaller object, it will surprise the shit out of you. And you see, speaking of which, as you sort of arc to the side, barely scraping the edge of the rock, you see these in front of you, down farther. You see this sort of like black extension of branches coming out of the ground, a completely dead tree, but inside of it you see glowing forms. Could be leaves, could be something.
Could be the
You're getting
crystal meth.
closer and closer and closer. What are you doing? You have one action.
I'll try to steer towards it. Like, what is that? We're gonna go. We're looking at it. We're steering towards it. I'm
Okay.
steering towards it.
Steering towards it. All right. Go.
Everybody, get ready to grab whatever's on that tree. We're gonna crash into it.
Okay. As you
Prepare yourself. Brace.
You don't have to steer because you're headed towards it anyway. Getting closer and closer. Roll a perception check for him.
Fuck. 10.
Can I join in on that perception check?
You're in the back. You can't see anything. He has to direct you effectively.
What about Dan?
Imagine Dan is with you. Like if you need help, he can help you.
What about Sparks?
Sparks is in the center, sort of afraid. If you guys have directions for them, they will follow.
What about
currently... Her check. You can do it. I believe in you.
Who's that?
You get closer and you notice the crystal objects sort of like materializing themselves. You start to see wings and these long pointed nose and these long pointed ears as they're almost like gremlin gargoyle but skinnier creatures on this tree. And before you can sort of like grab anything, you slam into it. The creatures jump off and start batting their wings. And roll initiative once more as you have
Jeepers.
you have just sort of agitated and crushed this dead tree underneath you, also delaying your time. So the avalanche has gotten closer as it's crashing down, exploding over the rock as you can feel snowflakes dance on top of you.
Should we just flip this into a cave and seal it and then dig our way out?
And you actually, I'm sorry, you wouldn't have noticed it because the blue flame is still burning and it's like keeping you guys not only warm, but it's keeping the ice away from you. So,
14.
Huh?
14.
Okay.
A little miss there. Another 11.
So 12. Wow, this thing is just 11.
Yeah, it's 11s all day.
7-11. Right?
All day, every day.
No, well, now it's on other places. 17. The red
Roll
one.
11s every day.
Jesus. Sorry, what'd you two get?
I got 14.
11 plus 1, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And wow, pretty much same. Not exactly. Okay, Card, you're first.
Cool. All right. So I'm still steering. I guess I'm going to maintain steering just in case we need to maneuver anywhere. But if one of those gremlins kind of flies next to our bowl, I am going to attack it. So I'm going to hold my action in case of turn and or attack. Can I do that?
You can only do one.
I will hold for steering.
Okay.
I feel like that's more important right now.
And you can ask Dan what to do, or you can tell him what to do as he looks at you, and he's like,
Kill them.
Okay.
Kill them.
Holding it to steer.
So are we're not stopped? The tree didn't
No, you're
stop?
not stopped. You were slowed temporarily as the avalanche caught up. 3. Yeah, just picture like skinny, elongated nose and small winged, like gargoyle goblin type ice creatures. As one's like keeping up alongside you guys, like soaring down and batting its wings. The snow seems to not affect it whatsoever. And he goes, and it's going to get every single person in the bowl
we're in the
as
flame.
this. This will pass through.
Bullshit.
It'll do half
That's
damage, but it'll
bullshit.
pass
This is
through.
bullshit.
As it's not quite like the flame is a mild salvation from what's happening right now. It's not like a mythical thing that'll stop everything.
So half on top of half?
No, if you succeed, it'll be half on top of half. Yeah. Okay, go. Everybody, roll a dexterity saving throw. Well, it's gonna be
Boop, boop,
potentially 3. It's gonna be potentially much smaller for you.
Say roll what?
Dexterity
Dexterity.
saving throw.
So that is a 20, not natural.
Card, you see.
What level do I get?
What level do you get?
Yeah, the dexterity saving throw. Oh yeah, I do have it. So I see it's coming. Do I get advantage? I would probably say no, since I'm kind of maybe focusing on the turning.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
focus on
okay.
turning.
We'll say this. We'll say.
So 12 reduced by half is 6. 12, you take 3 points, Voro, and you see Sparks is curling his makeshift leather wings around him. You're not quite sure if it affects him or not. Dan, Card, you're the only one who sees sort of him like do this focusing exhale once more as this heat from his mouth comes out and forms this sort of like cold breath. And he takes the full brunt of it, but it doesn't seem as though it affects him as much as you would have thought. So 6, 3, and then we'll see what happens to him. The next one is up, and it is going to slash you. As it comes down with its long sort of icicle talons and dives.
Oh god!
Shit! Scrapes off of your plate armor, and then tries to claw once more. These motherfuckers pretty much have to get a natural sick. Okay, does a 19 get your?
Just
Does a
barely.
19 get?
Just
yes,
barely.
19 gets me, yes.
Just barely.
I have all the defense basically on this guy.
You take 7 points of slashing damage as it misses your armor the first time and learns and claws you across your exposed sort of like midsection of your back and sort of like bats his wings. And he's sort of like in the... still hovering, just like keeping up with you guys right now.
So I take my shield and place it in that portion of my back, like.
If you put it away, then you lose
on my
the...
back, though.
It's on his back. He still gets the benefits.
Jesus Christ. Voro, you're up.
So I guess these things are still like in the air around us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my ice breath to try and like freeze them, I guess.
Okay.
Just
as you your own sort of contained blizzard flies from your mouth, you notice that its actions are not berated. They're not affected. It starts to sort of like this smile creeps across its small little jaw that's underneath its huge nose, and it's you don't sense any effect from it.
So nothing.
Nothing.
Well, then I guess after that, I'm just going to continue doing what I do.
Make another perception check.
Make it in the box for me.
Yeah, you got perception is 9.
Okay. The blizzard is just too thick, and after sort of like being attacked, it's hard to see over the edge of it. It's hard to sort of like pay attention right now. So you can't sort of command on what's coming up next. The next one is going to come down and attack Sparks.
Sparks, what's wrong with you?
Claws through Sparks' leather wings.
Oh no.
Scraping. You can see sort of like white scales, or not white scales, I'm sorry. Copper scales sort of like fly and sparkle away as some of his flesh has been, or his scaly hide has been ripped open.
Fools, could they?
And he's going to attack one more time.
Could they know who that was?
Misses as Sparks, almost in a panic, like kicks the small bat-winged creature away. Next up, Dan, still in his sort of like calm, the one that blew ice over all of you, he's going to do his similar action that he took on the bowl that you guys are in right now, the sort of like phantom fist, and he's just going to attack that. Natural 17, dope. Pretty good. 12, 15 points of damage. As this thing gets hit from the majority of its upper body, you just see this sort of like its chest almost cave in, and it sort of like tumbles to the side before it catches itself again, and continues to catch up to you. Card, you're up. Oh no, Sparks is up right now. And he just says, these things are immune to anything cold, anything ice. Voro, you gotta try something different.
I think I noticed that already.
It should have been obvious.
Sparks.
Hey, don't yell at him. You're the one that used an ice move on an ice
I noticed
thing.
that already, Sparks. I'm just trying to get them away from us. That's it.
And he goes, and this sort of like globule of acid spit flies up at one of the nothing, just right past. It like,
Nice.
yeah, it boils in the air, and you see it just sort of like continue on the path or stay on the path behind you. Now you're up, Card.
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know. How close are they?
They're like, one is within like physical attacking distance from you. The other two are sort of like keeping like
steering?
15 feet away from the.
Scare it.
Aren't you steering? So if you
I
take
am
your helmet out, you should be like, where are we going?
I'm gonna be like, Dan, take over while I attack it. I'll take it out real quick.
He can't do it right now,
But
and also he doesn't have a weapon or an item to do this.
you know what? I will keep steering
As you
this
feel-
motherfucking boat.
You can give it to Dan. Be like, Dan, take this from me.
You all take 9 points of damage. You're half to 4 as the bowl goes
The fuck?
as you hit another piece of sort of like stone jutting out, and you
Voro,
dent its-
watch us fucking where we're going.
You're supposed to be steering. I can't steer.
I can't steer, but I don't see what I can't steer out of the way, but I don't know what's going
to
on.
attack. You keep on
Card,
trying to
you
attack.
hear, whereas you heard like before. Now it's like hard to hear anything else outside of this behind you as the snow is eating the landscape and getting like you now passing through the flame are pieces of ice and snow because it's so dense right now. You can almost like feel it on the back of you.
All right, I'm holding a steer, but I'm gonna be like, someone look for an out. Dan, punch behind us to make us go faster.
Okay, holding it once more. The one that blew ice on you guys is going to go and attack Dan with 2 of its claws. First one misses. Second one gets him. Just like slicing across his the length of his arm as Dan continues the defensive position and sort of like blocks the first one and then sort of like raises his arm to block the next one, but it just sinks right in more than he was anticipating. All right, the next one is up and it's going to do another ice breath towards you guys. Everybody roll a dexterity saving throw.
Natural 20. Around me. Get it together. Wow. Wow. That's what you get for not getting it into the fucking castle the first time.
What happened?
Got a 1.
Natural,
You take the
natural 20.
You take the full brunt of it. You take half of it because you have your scales as well as the flame protecting you. But it's 14, so you take 7 points of ice damage. You managed to, like, with the with your halberd embedded into the snow, you've sort of gotten okay with understanding like the speed that you're going and how to sort of like control the ice shards that are jutting out, and you like stick it deep in right under you to where the ice shards are shooting up, and it almost creates this barrier of ice to stop the ice, and it just sort of like freezes and then falls and stays up the just like you pass it as the wall of ice stays where it is. And Dan this time isn't so lucky. He takes 7. And Sparks also takes 7. As Sparks is like shivering now, and he goes, I don't feel so good about Ollie. Varro, you're up.
We passed Ollie a while ago. No, I'm just joking.
Just frozen.
It was right there.
That was what you hit.
Yikes.
So I guess I'm going to. How many of these things are still flying around us?
All 3.
All 3. Are they
One
close?
is looking kind of rough. The others are totally fine.
Are they close together, really, to each other, or
Um,
far apart from each other?
2 are like inside of the bowl with you guys, and 1 is still sort of like on the outside of the bowl, about 15 feet away. The one that breathed ice initially, that Dan hit with like his phantom punch type thing, it looks sort of like a little bit rougher than the rest. Like part of his wings are shredded, and he's trying to keep balance.
So the 2 that are in the bowl with me. Hey, is this correct? Okay, so I'm just going to wait. So I'm going to do which bolt on the on the one inside here at level 1.
Okay.
So it what is it? It's a make a ranged spell attack. Ranged spell attack. Goodness.
Cocked on the sharks.
It's not good. So 9.
9. It's to attack.
Yeah.
Just sort of like streaks off into the distance, and you see part of the welling avalanche behind you just explode from the impact of your witch bolt.
Did I? Oh, that's. I didn't cast a second spell. That's pretty much all I can do. I guess I'm just gonna keep looking out front then and see if there's any
Roll a perception check.
obstacles. 1.
Your lenses
Get
are-
out of
are,
here!
like, they don't quite protect you this time. As like a piece of hail just like out of nowhere just gets you right in the eye. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage to your eye as you fail to see what's in front of you once more. The next ice creature is going to attack Ucard with 2 strikes at advantage because you are sort of like laying down with your javelin, or not your javelin, your halberd into the ice. Your like body is in the bowl and your
I got it.
yeah. Why am I rolling that? 16.
Mhm.
Did I hit you? And then rolled the wrong one. And then 17.
Yep. No, first one hits. That one. No. No.
6 for the first, reduced to 3. 6 for the second, reduced to 3. As it just sort of like swings by and starts clawing into your leather armor.
Yeah, it's like leather.
Yeah, just like giant icicle talons, just like.
I get it. I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna pull out the halberd as a reaction. Stab it.
Okay, go for it.
Is the bladed part in the ground or the other?
I don't do it. Yeah, it's too quick for me.
It seems to be moving very naturally in this sort of environment. Like the entire situation is just like meh, meh.
I know, right?
Dan is up now, and he sees Voro sort of like grabbing his eye, and he's going to run up the ding 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 and look up the top, and he is going to roll his own little
Dinosaurs! The spitter things!
dinosaurs. Natural 19.
Nice.
And he goes, Card, it's not looking good. There's something up ahead. I think it's like a canyon or a pit or something.
Oh shit. Well, it looks like we gotta do that ramp shit.
Can't do the ramp.
What do you mean?
He used his
Oh yeah, you use an ice move on an ice creature. You're such a genius.
He says, veer to the left. We just missed another rock. There's nothing else left. I think I see a something that can be used as a ramp.
I steer to the left.
The ice creatures are trying to catch up with you all. Sparks he's gonna try and spit acid again at one of them. Yeah, got him. The weakest sort of like ice imp goblin gargoyle thingy gets this globule just like, and it melts into past the ice into, you see a skull down into this sort of like meat matter, and it goes, the eyes that were already white, it's sort of like it's barely perceptible, you can tell, just like roll up and get lifeless as it wings go limp, and it is
Sparks did something.
Everybody roll a dexterity saving throw.
What?
As the body falls down, it starts to sort of like bubble outward, and
20 non-natural. Cocked on the shark again. Hey, let me still roll better.
12.
wow. Sparks sort of like pulls his wings back into him once more and gets deep down, and the ice explosion just curls past him. You got a 20 and you got a 12. You take half damage, which is another 7 points of damage. Sparks takes no damage. You rolled a natural 20. Dan,
Mine was not natural.
I know yours was not natural. You take a fourth of 14, so 7. You take 3 points of damage, and Dan takes also 3 points of damage. Dan is not looking too good. As he like was barely paying attention, but just as the ice sort of like rushes over him, his sort of like attentiveness is keeping him as sort of like sturdy as possible to get us through this, all of us. Card, you are now up.
I'm gonna still.
As this, it's still sort of like you can still feel it's like coming right behind you guys.
I'm still holding the steer.
Okay. The bull is behind you guys. And
I'll tell Dan, like, where are we going? Give me a direction. I can't see shit.
It's gonna be a guess. It's gonna be a shot in the dark.
Yes.
It's the best we got.
Whatever.
And you sort of like start to rub your eyes. Roll a perception check as you start to sort of gain yourself once more. The two ice creatures start to, and they just start flying away.
Roll a perception check on me.
Hey, 20.
Natural.
Natural 20? Holy shit. Okay.
I can see now. Oh!
Ah, I see everything.
Yeah.
The ice is clarity.
It's like this pile of boulders that never quite made it all the way over the edge of this huge cavern. It's about 40 feet in width, and it's all the way across. There's no sort of like finding an avenue that gets away from this. What Dan is pointing out is just this pile of rocks, as I said, that just didn't get across. So there, you could very easily just slam into them, or you could potentially jump over. But you see this like form catch your eye to the left, and it seems humanoid, large, running across the side that you're currently on, out from like what seems to be woods. It's hard to tell right now because of the current blizzard, but you are just barely able to make this creature out. As you are getting closer to the jump boulders, whatever it ends up being, you see this white fur, and you hear this. Have you ever played the snowboarding game?
Sean Palmer's or 1080?
The first snowboarding game that like ever existed.
1080 snowboarding or
No. So you slam into this pile of boulders. It stops you initially, and you just like start slowly sliding up, and you make it about 10 feet off and over as you see this form like leap. And you guys don't fall. You just continue over and over and over and over before you make it to the other side, just before you like just over the lip and just down onto it, as you are no longer sliding, but you hear like
Wait, hello, hey.
What's carrying us?
Doesn't answer you. Just keeps running as the
I'll
avalanche
steal something.
sort of like pulls over, descends into the valley below. Some of it explodes, ice shards shooting over you, as the avalanche has been sort of abated by that sort of canyon barrier. And as it goes, you hear the in the sort of like ebbing up and down, and you see large, curled, scaled fingers over the bowl, not answering you. We will take a quick break. You just hear, with the sort of like ebbing and flowing of the blue flamed bowl that you find yourselves in right now, the
And you said there's fingers wrapped around it, yeah?
there are sort of like black scaled fingers, almost as large as like half of your forearm, just sort of like almost calmly walking you forward. It's still blizzarding. You can still barely see in front of you, but what you do see is this in the direction that you are apparently walking in, or being walked in. You can't see a horizon, but you see just this black line leading up into a point, maybe 150 feet high.
I'm gonna crawl out to the rim of the bowl. What do I see? Do a perception check.
You're looking, yeah, okay.
Natural 20.
Seriously? It's like you're welcome.
It's a natural 0, actually.
All of your dice roll fucking fantastic.
I weight them all.
You do.
And I oppositely weight mine.
Yeah. No, you don't.
Well, first of all, you see that it's you guys are walking towards a canyon. You are walking towards two huge slabs of ice, however many miles wide, in length, that are just sort of jammed together, creating this black canyon that you are currently walking towards. What you see below, you don't quite see the head because it's under the bowl. You see two massive white furred arms grabbing the sides of the top. Huh?
Just like those.
Just like the ones that I'm describing. And you see these sort of like feet where the fur ends towards these long scaled toes, black scaled toes pressing in and disappearing feet below the snow. And you hear this sort of like dense crushing of ice. This is the description of the Draco Yetis that Sparks told you about. And Sparks is like, as soon as you hit the ramp, you notice that his wings are still curled up, but he's like not moving.
I was gonna go drop down and be like, Sparks, hey bro, hey Sparks, it's your nightmare. It's here. They're real.
He's not.
Just so you know.
You sort of like peek under the leathered wings, fabricated wings, and he's passed out. Like at the jump, he just like, it was too much.
I take out a marker and I draw a dick on him.
Do you draw a dick on his
I don't
face?
have a marker or supplies.
Take some.
I don't know what's in an explorer's pack fully.
Varro, hey man, hey, Varro,
What do you want?
hey, we're fucked. Hey, the Yeti is right underneath us, bro.
So it's helping us, it seems?
I mean, it could be like we're in essentially a stew pot right now.
We have a giant blue flame on.
What is that gonna do to a Yeti, bro? What?
Fire.
It makes
to
no
a
sense.
Fire cold.
Look,
things
I'm
don't
gonna
like
tap
cold,
its finger.
so
I'm gonna tap its finger. What do you think?
As it
I'm gonna
drops
tap
us
it.
and kills us all.
It might not.
If you tap its finger,
It might be bringing back to us the lair to eat us
Yeah.
and or other things of
yeah. Well,
sexual
at
nature.
any point we could jump out if we wanted to.
It's quite a drop.
Whatever you guys
10
do,
feet.
I'll take Spark and I'm in.
Was that Sparks saying that, or?
All right, I'm gonna tap its finger.
That was Dan. This is Dan.
if
saying
it
that.
if it puts us down,
It's
we'll
most
act.
likely just gonna throw us down. If we
I
hit
don't
it.
know what word.
If you hit it with your
These
sword,
things
it's
are
gonna
supposed to
throw
be
us down.
slightly intelligent. Maybe it'll understand
Not
us.
if you hit it with your sword.
I'm gonna tap it. It's a glaive, by the way.
All right, tap it. Tap it.
I lightly tap it with the blunt end twice on its finger, like tap tap, like really tap tap, just really gingerly, like a cane, like tap, tap, like on a glass window. Tap tap.
Keeps walking. It's almost as though like you just tapped stone, really. Like it reacted that little. Almost
I don't want to tap it. I don't want to seem hostile. Let's just go. Let's just go with the flow, man. We'll see what happens. You know, if we're dead, we're dead. We're already we're like 40 feet tall, high right now.
Jump out of this. bowl.
We'll break our legs and then it'll kill us.
Landing in the soft snow.
Card, what did you see down there? Do you think we could take it if we had to?
Maybe me, but not you.
Well, that's why
I'm just kidding. Like all of us, we could probably take one, but if we're near a giant, like creation and a like almost like a building like of ice. I think we're going back to its lair, man. So we could either
Did it look
wait.
friendly?
I mean, what? It's a fucking Yeti, bro.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, it could be. I'm not gonna judge it. It could be cool. I've run into.
It could be cool.
I've run into things that look scary as shit, and they're cool.
I mean, if it wanted to, eat us by now, it would have, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't have just saved us. It would have just let us die, and then found our bodies, and then just ravaged us then. Especially Sparks.
You can eat frozen meat.
Are you trying to wake him?
He's still passed out. I'm just trying to wake him up.
Okay, if you want to wake him, you can.
Yeah, I'll wake him up. Sparks!
Did we make it?
Sparks, don't be alarmed.
Did we make it?
Your nightmare's below us. It's the Yeti. It's carrying us. Don't freak out. But this is such a great experience for you. It saved us. It saved us. It saved us. It could be our friend.
though it could also kill us.
Most likely it's your brother in a transformed state.
Why would you say something like that?
That's literally impossible, but it could happen. We don't know
There are
their
magic things.
we don't know what their
What?
magic is.
So you just said it's literally impossible, but it could happen. That doesn't make it.
It's literally possible.
And you're not messing with me?
No,
have
it's
no idea.
right under. I
Sort of,
like,
looks past you.
I like
the-
take his head and be like, "Ugh. Those are his fingers. It's right under us. Don't do anything. But just remember that they're real, and you can bring back this to the Merhute. You're gonna be the coolest kid on the block.
And he sort of like checks his wings to if they're like in working order or not.
You're not flying away.
I could go get help.
Could you?
And he sort of like he tries to flap and it makes this like.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
It's
like it. Seems like you're stuck here with us, buddy.
Just put
It's
those
okay.
in-
Look, it's okay. It's okay. Let's just see where it goes. Let's just go with it. If we die, we die. There's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, all right. I got you, buddy. Can you understand it? Anybody?
It's gurgling.
It just it gargled.
Yeah. Like gurgle once for friendly. Gurgle twice for enemy. There's like one gurgle.
That was a chuckle.
Yeah, like one
That
chuckle.
was not a gurgle at all. See, you said gurgle, but he chuckled.
Ain't understood. Do you understand me, big man? Hello?
Seems to be unresponsive.
Fuck. We'll go with it. We'll go with it. See where it goes. We're almost there. Another like 100 feet or so. Let's just, like I said, if we're dead, we're dead.
Okay. I'm
You know,
doing the
adventure-
same thing I said before. I'm just going to sit here then.
All right, we're sitting here. We're just gonna chill.
Wait until we stop or jump
I don't
out.
like that look to the side there.
Either or.
I know
I
that-
don't know what's going on.
I know
I'm
that-
just a part of the adventure, just like you guys.
All right.
Okay, you guys all sort of like are almost in this like purgatory of dread and curiosity and like silence.
I'm chilling.
Every now and then you guys sort of like test the perception or the reaction of the Jag Wandi that is currently carrying you guys
Just gonna
forward.
go, Jagwandar? Jagwandar?
He there's this it stops.
Oh. Oh.
And your sort of like perception and orientation shifts a little bit as you see like the ground come a little bit closer, and rising above you see this
I'm preparing an attack just in case.
giant sort of like lizard
Just like,
head.
What's up, bro?
um
What's up? What's up?
stare directly down at you
Jack
as it's
Wanda?
just like putting it the bowl towards its chest,
Jagwandar?
and it goes Jagwanda.
Jagwandar?
Ooh, Jagwanda.
Things like Pokemon, they can only see their names.
Yeah. Bring us to Jagwandar.
Roll an intelligence check, I guess, or like an insight check.
I think insight would be better. What's my insight? What is it? What is
And
it?
Dan just like walks right up
investigation?
and throws his hand out, and he goes, "What'd you roll?"
Not high, but it's a 3. I don't
This
know.
is a monstrous face that you can't like. It's completely foreign to you, and it's hard for you to tell what it
I've been around a lot of
means.
animals in my travels. I'm a roamer. That's what I am.
Yeah, still, this thing is.
Come on,
is-
like I've seen this thing.
it's like a 15-foot tall
yeah, I've seen it 1,000
lizard
times.
yeti. You
1,000
never. You might have been traveling
Best friends.
with Voro for a little while now, but it hasn't like that's just racist to think that you know all scaled creatures. You know, like
Wow, don't place that hard on me.
mannerisms and things. And Dan like throws out his hand, and he goes, "We can trust you, right? You're gonna take us to where we need to go."
I got deep blue sea moment here going.
And the Jag Wandi, just for a second, you might see a smile cross its face. And you just see the orientation change again as the face disappears underneath the bowl, and it continues walking.
Okay,
again.
we're clearly friends with it. We're good. I know. Look, Jag Wandar. Just mention his name. We're Gucci. We're Gucci.
I don't know about that. I mean, they said they worship Valrath or whatever, and they don't like people taking stuff.
We haven't taken anything.
We kind of just destroyed a statue of Valrath and took his arm.
Look,
from
they
the
would
statue.
understand. We were gonna die.
As now we're being carried away in our stolen property that we just destroyed. Of their,
We didn't
of their
steal it.
revered person.
We found it by chance.
Yeah. Those words don't mean that. So,
We're chilling. We're chilling still. We're good.
You pass through the almost like massive gate into these two clashing glaciers, where most all light disappears save for the one behind you and a small sliver in front of you. It gets much colder now than it was before. Even though you are sort of like saved from the blizzard, you can still count on the small warmth of the blue flame that's continuing to sort of crackle, and just, it's not even as though it sheds much light. This whole thing is almost like mild in every attribute it has, but it's still ever present. Walking through, waving back and forth. You've been in this for about an hour and a half so far.
Can I take my Morning Star and like put it in the blue flame and see if it actually like heats up a little bit, or if it just like it's actual real like normal flame, or does it do weird stuff?
It's like roll an intelligence check, or an Arcana check, I suppose.
12.
You've seen a few flames like this before. It's like showmanship. It's just a monument, really, from what you can tell. Like it's whatever this has been imbued with or enchanted with. It's not supposed to be super effective. It's just supposed to be like metaphorical or a meaningful sight. It's not supposed, like, nobody would use, like, if anybody was attacking, they wouldn't be like, go get the blue brazier from the dark glaciers.
Just wondering, does it harm me or just keep me warm?
It just has like this mild warmth to it.
It doesn't harm me if I like touch it.
No, you've been in it the whole time.
Yeah. Never mind. No.
And we're burning alive.
As you get closer to the other side, it's been about a 2-hour journey at this point. As the blue light sort of reflects on the glacial ice, you can see like frozen creatures inside of it, almost like the anglerfish, just like giant teeth.
Jesus.
Opening up, a very dim light emanating from some appendage above it. Various different sort of almost like ancient creatures that you haven't seen for a long time still walking through. And you've seen shapes of architecture that you can't quite point out. It's not like anatomy. It's not like a creature that you're looking at. It's definitely like a sentient made structures inside. This like deep bluish black it's hard to see from the already like dense blue of the glacier itself, but it's definitely sort of like very angular. Some are adorned, just barely visible. You can see intelligence made in its design. And you get closer to the the next opening, and sort of you walk inside.
Gonna do another peek see what's going on.
All right, roll a perception check as the light sort of hits you and blinds you for a split second.
17.
You squint your eyes to realize the scene before you and try and focus on different elements. You see, with your 17, a dark silhouette of almost like a similar creature in front, maybe 100 yards out into the opening. The glacier still continues, but it opens up and it sort of like arcs around this structure, or sort of not the structure. It just arcs around and out as different, very crudely established, like pits and caves are extending out and around as you see different creatures sort of like laying inside or like sitting down eating like a giant piece of fish. In the center of it all is as your eyes adjust, the darkness turns to this deep gray fur with multiple sets of wings on its chest, almost like a tattoo, but it's like burned and engraved into its chest, a V, just like one set of wings with articulations of flame inside, and then the next set of wings on top of it with articulations of snowflakes, then the next with articulations of sort of like this bubbles of acid and whatnot, and the next with like sort of like sharp angles of electricity, and it's Valrith's sign, curling all the way over his shoulders and continuing as he's just sort of like standing there, sort of like shoulders back a bit more intelligently than the rest, as they're all sort of like, almost like, imagine a tribe of apes just lounging about, but one that's the Caesar of the group.
Good. Hello? Hey, sir, or ma'am, bro.
And Sparks sort of like tugs on your clothes. And he goes, they don't take kindly to outsiders, from what I've heard.
We're already here, Sparks.
Don't want to do this.
Sparks, we're already here, dude. There's nothing we could do at this point but try to work our way out of it. Welcome to the group.
You might want to let me handle the talk. And it's like his voice catches in his mouth. It's the talking.
Yeah, Sparks. Do you want to handle the talking?
And he sort of like crawls up and peeks over and gets a view of you. And he immediately slides back down. He goes, "No."
Yeah.
But I might have to.
Good initiative, bad judgment.
And the voice that okay, I just forgot the voice really quickly. Sort of like looks at you all, not like surprised of anything as you're reaching out, and he goes, "Good job, Zarndurl." And you sort of like can't really understand the name that he says. "Set them before me."
This guy a vampire.
And the orientation changes again as like the massive form reveals itself behind you, and you as it places it down onto the ice, and sort of like it's about like 20 feet in front of the largest, most intellectual, the one who's actually speaking something that you can understand right now.
Would the couple hours while sitting in the brazier kind of would that constitute a short rest?
Yeah. Okay. If you want to use your thingy points. If you want to use any What are they called? Hit points? Just not hit points. Hit dice. Yes. If you want to use any of them dogs. What brings you to our... And he says a similar name that you heard before, but you can't quite understand. But it's like, it essentially exudes like our place. He doesn't call it the Dark Glaciers. He doesn't call it the ancient name that you heard before, but he says like something that you still can't understand. Yeah.
I go, Jag Wad?
You
I am-
stand before the Jag Wad.
Hey man, I'm Card. How's it going? This is Varro.
They can speak for themselves.
Just introducing him, but all right.
He just told you my name, Burrow, so hello again, I guess.
And sort of like Spark's little wings sort of like go above the bull, and he goes, I'm Sparks, from Marahute. And Dan goes, I was not expecting this.
Right. Crazy.
I'm Dan Benger from Juniper, a village far away from here.
Bender.
State your business in our land.
We have come here on a mission to look for Spark.
So hold on. Ollie sort of like pulls on your cloak and he says, we're not here to look for any item or bring it away.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Thanks, Sparks.
Hey, thank
You
you.
called yourself Ollie.
I didn't call myself Ollie.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
You did.
Oh, shit. God damn it. Sorry.
But that helps me. I'm like, we're looking for Sparks' brother, Ollie. Ollie oxen for you.
A lost soul in the land of ice and ancient findings.
Yep. That's about it. Just looking for another Dragonborn like him. As you can see, he's not fully a Dragonborn yet. And his brother is his caretaker, if you will.
There's no not being a full dragon. He's a full dragonborn. It's just.
I mean, he can't.
Roll a persuasion check.
I don't know what dice to use. This seems very important. I'll use the Bax dice. Natural 20. Boom!
Wow. We have been watching you as we do all who come in our domain. You have not transgressed on our or our benefactor's will.
Sorry about the statue.
So you have gained the right of passage.
We did it.
Should you need a guide, we can provide one.
Is he going to be as talkative as?
Who are you looking for?
Whatever here?
This brother.
I will nudge Sparks. Hey, Sparks. I don't know your guy.
Sort of like peeks his head back up over the bowl because he's like he has to like sort of like crawl up or otherwise he'll slide down. He goes, he's a silver scaled dragonborn. He kind of looks like me. He's a little bit bigger. He's really good with his words. And
Tell me he was a metallic dragonborn. Could be evil.
and Jagwandar goes, we have seen this boy pass through here. I can offer you Zigzar to take you to where he was last seen.
Is that who we just rode with? He wasn't very talkative at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Try to talk to him.
Better no words than enough carnage. He sort of like shows his teeth.
Better no words than enough Carl.
Okay.
Your statement made no sense.
We
but
would
I'll
have
follow it.
greatly appreciated, my dude.
Your dragonborn is not from Marhute.
This one? No.
He shows a great disrespect.
Disrespect.
That's just him?
I asked.
That's just him, I'm sorry.
He does not understand
Your
the
statement
circumstance that he finds
Your
himself
statement
in.
didn't make any sense for
Varro,
for-
just shut the
for
fuck
a
up.
minute.
Varro, shut the fuck up.
Peace or death, you choose.
Varro, shut the fuck up. Shut the
You
fuck
can't,
up.
I can't answer his question
No.
if you tell me to be quiet.
Shut-
I can't answer his
I'll
question
answer
if you tell
for
me to
you.
be
I'll
quiet.
answer for
That
you.
makes no sense.
I got it.
Whatever.
Always with peace. Dude.
Roll a persuasion check. At advantage because you were so successful the first time.
Persuasion. Straight 15.
Zigzar will guide you regardless, and he will keep an eye. Should anything leave these lands, you will not leave these lands.
It's alright.
Voro shall die first.
If you can.
Shut the fuck up. Thank you. We greatly appreciate the assistance.
Okay.
Before you go, do you know any games?
Games? Yeah, I got
We
one.
get bored.
I pull out a coin and I flick it up into the air. I go, heads or tails, call it, and I grab it.
Heads.
I need a coin.
There's-
Out of the
there's-
thousands
there's
of
a
coins you
coin
have.
right in there.
Black-
A big metal coin right there in front of you.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. All right, the head is tails. The IA is heads.
Okay, IA is okay, cool. Bah! Oh. You win.
And like some of the other sort of like Jag Wandi around, like, again, explain.
Game is called Take It or Leave It.
So
Which
I
one? Take it.
I have a goal, and I'm like, so you call it in the air, always call it in the air, flick it up as high as you can, and then try to grab it. That's the funnest part right there, and then cover it up, but only you know what it is, and you ask the person, heads or tails. If they win, they win. If they lose, they have to keep going. It's an everlasting game.
And he sort of like this like smile that he can't quite contain sort of like crosses his face, and he holds out his hand.
And I
he
give,
goes, give.
I give.
And he just like these giant fingers just like. And he makes this large gesture to bring like everybody around, and they just like stop what they're doing. Like the fish drop to the ground, and they all huddle around him. And he flicks it, and he goes, and disappears into the sky. And he goes, heads or tails? Or sorry, he doesn't say it in that language, but like he goes, and you just hear this like roaring and ruckusing around all of them, and some of them are like jumping, and some of them are like looking up as high as they can. And Zigzar just like sort of like picks you guys up, and he starts walking past.
Because I watched as the coin fall back down.
So as he passes, Zigzar also sort of like the bowl tilts a little bit, and you guys shuffle to the like slow down to one side, and he whisper or like says something that you can't understand to Jag Wandar. Jesus, that's what is going on in our neighborhood. In Jag Wandar just like winks at him. And as you sort of like disappear off into it gets brighter and brighter as it's like a glacial expanse of ice extends before you, and far off in the distance you see this like this huge pillar of ice, multiple hundreds of feet high, extend up into the distance. And as you exit into the expanse and just like the their lair sort of becomes less visible behind you, Zigzar turns behind to look over his shoulder, and you see this like glint fall and get slapped into Jag Wandar's hand, and he slaps it down, and you hear this sort of like this yell from the distance that again you can't quite understand, but it's similar to exactly what Zigzar said, and Zigzar just like and walks forward. And like half of them roar, the other half just like slam their fists onto the ground, and then you see the glint shoot up into the air again.
Oh Jesus! Nailed it. First thing that came to mind.
Well done. Okay, so he's almost like walking directly towards the pillar. About another hour passes before you get to the base, and he sets the bowl down, and he grabs Sparks, puts Sparks on his shoulder. Dan looks at it, and he's just like, and he just starts climbing himself as Zigzar offers him a giant hand, and he just like, no. If I'm gonna beat the dueling chains, I gotta do this myself. And he like the white scaled cloak's still on him, and he just starts climbing. Zigzar just like goes up almost like he passes Dan super quickly. Are you guys taking Zigzar's help, or are you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna like if he's offering, might as well.
Okay.
It's on his shoulder.
All right. Just like King Kong and the lady, I forget her name. You guys ascend the ice tower, and you can see this similar architecture that you saw hints of in the pass, almost like jutting out of this iced tower. It's like black marble almost, with like hints of gold and red as the accents, as opposed to the white marble and black as the accents, black and gray. Continuing to climb up. Takes about 10 minutes, as large as this individual is. Shoulder shifting from side to side. And as you crawl to the top, you notice that the ice stops almost entirely, and the first thing of note is a statue in the center of the diameter that's about 45 feet in diameter, and shattered ruins on the side, still the black with the gold and red accents, just like broken in on each other. And that's sort of what you see as Zigzar takes you guys off, sets you down, and just turns around and like casually sits with his arms on the edge and like looks out over the iced expanse.
I will flick him a coin. There you go.
No reaction.
Oh. I just go. I make the.
He looks at you and it's go ahead and roll an intelligence check or an insight check. Just not into it, man. He's okay. So you see a statue of a very foreign being, holding a sword, sort of like looking towards the sky. Some ruins around you, broken down. Same black marbled material. What do you want to do?
What is
Guess
this?
I'll do a perception check, kind of see what's in the area, and then I'm gonna.
Statues of.
His name's Ollie. Olin.
Ollie?
Olin.
Zigzar?
No, the child's brother.
Oh, Ollie. Yeah.
Olin. I'm gonna go Ollie, and then I'm gonna listen and look. 14.
Okay. You first like sort of the statue catches your eyes as it's from all the black around. It's this sort of like alabaster statue of this sort of like lithe but muscular form, long white hair, almost like red, flowery tattoos on their right arm. It looks like there was something to hold like clasps on both shoulders to hold like a cape. There's no cape on the statue right now. And sort of like a samurai sort of like legging. It only just to describe you visually that it looks different from most any legging. It looks very foreign to Card or anybody that you're with. And they're just sort of like, again, sort of like staring up heroically. Around you, you notice past the statue, there's this dais with this liquidy, clear, watered orb holding perfectly together. Might be glass. You're not quite sure right now. As you are looking around, you see that the ruins are almost completely destroyed, save for one square structure where the roof has fallen in both to sort of like lean on each other, almost creating a like a tent of solid material. And that's when you notice, as you're looking in that direction, sort of Sparks is looking over there, and he goes, "Ollie, no. Ollie," and you see this like form underneath the tented solid material, and Sparks is just like, he's not moving at all. He's almost in like this like shaking disbelief.
Sparks. Is that him? You sure?
His breathing is just getting really heavy right now, and he starts to walk closer towards the tented black material.
Guess we how are we still in eye shot of what's his face?
He's like almost the Jag Wad escort is like, he's fulfilled his job to get you here, and now he's like literally just looking off and like dispassionately involved in what you guys are doing. He's not really. He's just like looking out at the landscape, just like breathing heavily.
All right. Well, Sparks, I think we should probably get him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ivoro, you want to help me out there, dude?
No, I'll see. Yes,
We'll
walk
start
over to this rebel
start
pile and
shipping them out.
Start dusting stuff off.
You approach. You get closer and closer, and the form reveals itself to be a white, sort of like leather-bound, smaller dragon scale individual. There is a dark texture around the iced and stone floor that they're laying on top of. The the dark texture leads into their body, and you can see that blood has pooled out from their midsection, and they're not moving at all.
I will check his vitals.
You lean down, roll a medicine check.
I'm good at these. I'm really good at these. I'm really good. Watch it. Watch it. Really good at these. Natural fucking 20. I resurrect him!
No, you don't. You resurrect him. He's dead. And he's been dead for many days now.
Resurrect him!
To the point where he cannot be resurrected. You see that his midsection is sliced open, so thick that it almost meets their spine.
Does it look like a January claw?
It does not.
Oh,
it looks like a blade swipe.
Yikes!
A very clean blade swipe, very deep, and it was only one.
Did anybody come out here with your brother as well?
As you lean down, Sparks is about 10 feet away from you, and he's almost hesitant to approach. And he says, "How's he looking?"
Did anybody else come out with your brother, or no?
He came by himself. He always goes by himself.
Look, Sparks, I'm gonna be.
He's smarter than this. He knows. He's more careful. He's. There's something we can do, right?
Look, Sparks, I'm gonna be real honest with you. No, he's been dead for a couple of days now. He's got sliced clean through with some kind of blade. Look, you're taking this real well, Sparks.
He did it.
You're a true adventurer right now. You need to man up.
Almost afraid to look in, but like resolute to know the truth. He just runs past you in almost desperation. He tries to like move Ollie's wings. Like, no, come on, come home with me. Come on. You're not like this. This isn't true. And you notice that as he Sparks turns over the white scaled boy's corpse, he's holding like by his chest. It looks displaced a little bit, like it's almost like unfocused around his midsection.
I will grab what's on his chest.
You, through clutched grips, you pull a fabric that is.
It's the crystal meth.
It's Kumbara's fabric.
Dan shoots past you, and he. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
No, I need it for my sister. My sister.
And Dan is just watching the statue and looking at you guys, and just sort of like letting you guys do your thing.
I'm crouched down as I do this. I'm just gonna I'm gonna take the fabric and kind of just like.
You can't get it past Sparks, because he's right there. So he's sort of like he's paying full attention to the body as this displacing material like comes out of his brother's clutches, and it's incredibly soft, but like you can't clutch your fingers from like tip to palm through it. It feels as though it is like diamond titanium something or other, and it feels almost like you're not even pulling anything. It feels like you're grabbing material, but your sensation doesn't reflect that, if that makes sense. Like you can't close your fist, but it feels like air. Super, super light. Almost exactly what the legends have said. And Sparks is just like, you did it. You got it. You got the thing of legends. You got the thing of myths.
Sparks. You know, that guy's Jago whatever Dondi is right over there. So
I don't know if this is how he died, but if this is how, like Jag Wad, no stealing, right? No stealing. He might have. This is probably why he died. I'm gonna put it in my jacket, so if I go down, just run out of here. We're gonna grab his body. We're gonna get out of here, and then we're with your brother's body.
He trusts you pretty much implicitly at this point, so he just nods. I would roll a stealth check. Or sleight of hands, whichever one you want to do.
I mean, they're both dexterity, yeah?
Yeah, but if you're proficient in one, which you're probably not in either.
How dare you for even assuming that. Sleight of hand or
Stealth.
stealth? Both. I'm not. So 8.
You just like a lot of shuffling and sort of like bagging that you're putting it in. What do you have that you're putting it in right now?
I'm putting it like in my armor.
So I'm gonna go up to Jag Wad and actually pull out my playing card set and be like, "Hey, look at this. Here, try this."
Okay, roll a performance check for me.
8.
Fuck!
He just sort of like looks
That's
at them,
combined 16.
and he just like pulls from a place that you can't quite see through his giant fingers. He just has like a set himself, and he just like.
Wanna play again?
No, he is. You get the sense that he's only doing this based off of Jag Wandar's like instructions. Like he's just trying to kill time right now. Dan is walking towards the sort of like dais with the orb on it, and he goes, "Guys, I think I might have found it."
You haven't found anything. Nothing we can take here. So we just need to got the body. And I wink at him.
What's going on over there? Why? What? But this is it. It's like it's in front of me. It's
No,
it's
Dan. Dan, we got it. And I wink at him again as I
roll a performance check
God damn it.
or a persuasion check, I should say.
Oh God. It's higher than the last one, but performance or persuasion?
Either one.
8.
You guys are on a roll.
I know.
8
3, 8.
last time.
God damn it.
He takes a step closer to it, and he goes, "It's just let me check it out."
No, now I go, no, Dan, if you touch it, I will kill you.
The as you say that, you hear this in the central statue. Alabaster skin sword shifts, turns almost immediately. Like you didn't even notice. He was facing away out towards the horizon. Now he's facing towards Dan, where you see this like on the black and blue, like black from the material that made these ruins and blue from the ice covering it, the deep ice. This red line that's like this almost like gaseous light around the perimeter of the orb that Dan has just stepped over.
Well, Dan, it's been great knowing you. And I pick up the body and we're leaving.
Almost immediately, a phase of red. Dan has been sliced open from sternum to shoulder. Blood.
Jesus Christ.
Dan's body is like arcing away now at this point. Everybody roll initiative as Dan has taken...
We're leaving.
Yeah, now you need to have the order of how you're going to leave. Roll a perception check.
19. Both of us?
I would say not Valra, or not Voro,
Either way.
as Voro is engaged with Zigzar at this point. What'd you roll for
20, not natural.
perception?
Oh, no, perception? Sorry. That was for initiative.
I got 8 for initiative.
God, fucking 7 for perception.
this
3 for perception.
3. You just notice that the whereas the skin was almost like this matte alabaster before, when it's back turned to you, it's glowing a little bit. You can't quite, you're not focused on it, but it was almost like this light passed before you that wasn't the blade. It wasn't anything else, but you can sort of like just see this light emanating from the back of this individual. And it doesn't seem like it's alive. It just seems like it's on autopilot right now. And its move was one smooth, almost like, it didn't run or anything. It was just like the blade came up and then Dan was down. Dan is out of commission right now. He is
Oh, really?
unconscious. Yeah.
I did not think that as he got bisected.
No, he didn't get bisected. Like from his sternum to his shoulder, it's like 2 or 3 inches deep. Blood is coming out, but it wasn't like it can be fatal, but it's not entirely. Like it wasn't slicing through bone just yet. But he is, he's unconscious on the floor.
Sparks, can you fix him? No,
So what you rolled what'd you roll?
I rolled a 29
Correct.
natural for initiative.
Okay.
8.
All right. And Sparks is going to be at disadvantage because he's focused wholly on his brother. And he goes last. Jag Wad is not engaged at all. Okay.
Oh, he's just sitting there like, oh, wow. What a predicament.
He's still looking out. Like he doesn't even really know what's going on. Okay, so it's the statue has sort of like you see it pause for a second as the clean swipe goes through Dan. Dan sort of like slides on the ground deeper into the radius of the red lining of the sort of like waterish sphere, and it sees you as the next closest foreign individual.
I'm still raging.
Yeah. Roll a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, 16. That was a lot of dice, that sounded like.
It's only 3, all right? You take 15 points of slashing damage as the large red, almost katana, but more straight blade, as he like almost like an illusion or like a phantom goes from one position straight up to you. You barely know what happens before your chest is sliced open. 15 points of damage later. At the barrier of the hut that you were in. And he's standing there, eyes blank. You're up, Card.
How far is the exit?
The exit is like... Here, we'll do this.
Does it appear to be blocked by anything?
Just the Jag Wad.
And Omina's like, God. She's gonna think I'm doing it.
More ruins.
She's perfectly fine with it. It's like,
More ruins. And then... This is the Jag Wad.
oh,
This is Voro. You're right here. This is Sparks.
It looked like he was doing a
This is Dan on the ground.
the portal.
And
You need a slashy stabby guy.
this is the slashy savvy guy. All right. Next up is Voro.
So I guess I'm going to.
Fuck you guys.
Each of those squares is only 5 feet, right? Or...
Yeah.
So I can't make it to Dan, but I'm gonna get as close to Dan as I can.
Wait. Why did
Well,
my
actually,
turn?
I guess-
Why did my turn get skipped?
Oh shit! I'm sorry. You are up.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was like, I was asking questions.
Sorry.
So does the entrance or the entrance and exit look blocked?
The Jag Wad is sitting on the portion that you climbed up. You can easily just like he's large enough to where you could navigate around, if that makes sense. Like you but he climbed you up here, so you don't have any experience actually navigating this 150, 200 foot high precipice.
I'm going to run. Where's the creature? What is the
He's
creature?
right by you. He's at you.
I don't see it.
Let me actually show you a picture of what.
I mean, could you put him on the map?
So I did put him on the map, except with it like a long samurai blade instead of the pole.
Is it the other?
It's this guy right here.
Could you use the giant red figure?
Sure. He's not very big though. He's like.
That's fine as long as I can identify him as.
Get miles out of you.
Yeah. I'm going to rage,
Okay.
and then I'm going to. You said there's something glowing on his back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to
Roll an intelligence check
God damn it! Blow on him, isn't I?
because you're the one who also rolled the initial check. It's you're so taken aback by this, like you were sure they were a statue at first. Dan is in your mind he could be dead, which is almost like sent a shock through your system. And as soon as that thought hit you, you yourself took a lot of damage from this individual, and so it's hard to actually put thoughts together right now.
Okay. I'm gonna attack it.
You do okay. Go for it. You also have the crystal flow meth in your
But
your
does that
belonging.
do anything to me?
You don't know. You don't know. You've heard that it's incredibly defensive or whatever, but you haven't put it to use yet.
All right, hit him with a combo. 20. Not natural.
Hits.
Oh God. 16.
Misses.
Oh. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. 17.
Misses.
Oh my God. This is insane. All right. Fine. First, since my first strike hit, it's going to be, we're going to do radiant.
Okay.
We're going to do radiant. And I've already used my bonus action. So, 15 points bludgeoning plus 3 points radiant.
Okay. As you get sliced through, almost similar to Dan, but not quite as deep, as you were more cognizant than he was at the time, the pain pulses through your system, bringing rage to the forefront. In retaliation, you slash across his alabaster skin, sending small little flecks off, stronger than you would have thought, not as deep as you would have wished. Does not do as much damage as you wanted it to be.
It's never enough.
It's never enough.
That is my turn. I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
Okay, Voro, you're up. For real this time.
So I am going to. So is Jag Wad doing anything? Or he's just like,
You can roll a perception check. Be a free action.
4.
As soon as you heard Dan's yell, ah! You turned around and Zigzar was not a part of your thoughts, I would say. It was just like the immediacy of the moment took you, focus your perception elsewhere.
I still want to like grab and be like, hey, we're kind of under attack. You wanna help us out before you die with us as well? Because he's attacking you as well. And just leave that thought with him, and then I'll go attack this guy, I guess.
Okay, go for it. Go to attack. You have your bonus action in your action.
So I'm going to attack. I attack him twice with my Morning Star. I guess that's good enough. So that is 17 and 20 for that.
17 misses, 20 hits.
Alright. So that is a D8 plus 4.
Max, I'm sorry, but could you text during a recorded game?
So that's 7 points of damage.
Same thing, small flecks of the statue's person sort of like break off, but not as much as you would have liked, as a big meaty hit made contact, but it just sort of like scraped off. We have your bonus action. Anything else?
The bonus action. I don't think I have anything that can be used as a bonus action.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna, yeah. That do nothing. I'm just gonna forfeit my bonus action, I guess.
All right, Dan is up, and he's sort of like, you don't really tell from his still body across the way. Sparks is up, and he's, this cut, it was him. This bastard did it. This bastard needs to die. And he is going to spit across or over your shoulder onto the statue, and you sort of like hear the gears start to shift aggressive, like in his wings, and he's just gonna start to like flap up higher and higher in the air as best as he can. I'll be back, Ollie. And starts to like sink in and melt into the material of this menacing statued foreign figure.
The statue is only doing its job, Ollie. Or, excuse me, Sparks.
I mean, I did it first, so as sort of like a shadow appears and gets smaller and smaller above you as Ollie gets higher into the sky. The statue is up, and Roll dexterity saving throw.
Is this advantage?
No,
Okay.
because it's hard to make out exactly how this thing moves.
Oh, 17.
You take a half and then another half of 20 points of damage. So 5 points
Okay.
of slashing damage.
That's not.
As he disappears again and is in another form in your vision. Pain sort of courses through you, unnoticing. Next up, you're up, Card.
Okay. Again, I'm gonna try to do a little maneuver around him and see what's on his back.
Okay.
Do a perception check, intelligence check, any kind of checks here.
Perception check.
Dude, check yourself.
18.
Wreck yourself.
So, you notice the clasps in the beginning when you first walked on here, just casually not knowing that this thing was a threat. You're like, oh, that was interesting. Roll an intelligence check.
I just rolled a check. I gotta roll another one. 11.
You feel this very smooth, light material in your leather armor, and you look at his exposed back, and you imagine that you're putting two and two together, that potentially Ollie came here, saw that the crystal flow was here, that's potentially all that he wanted, took it, and was done away with because of this act.
Grave robber,
The cape that this guardian or whatever it is wearing, made out of crystal flow, is meant to guard this crystal on his back. So it all sort of like comes together as you see this diamond.
It's like math equations. Man.
Exactly. This diamond formed on its back, just sort of like jutting out.
Does it resemble the one that's that Dan almost touched?
Dan didn't almost touch a diamond. What is over there?
The orb.
It does not resemble the orb. No.
Okay. I'm gonna go for a shot on it.
Okay. Its AC will increase by 1.
That's fine, cause I'm doing both things. Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's for the first attack.
All right.
Second attack. Natural 19.
All right.
Oh
all right, all
baby!
right. Okay.
Oh god. Prepare for the damage. First attack. 8. 32. And that'll be I'm gonna do necrotic on this one.
Okay.
2 points necrotic, so 32 bludgeoning, 2 necrotic for the first attack. And then for the second one, 13 bludgeoning. Or sorry. Man, I'm not adding my strength for this. Both times. Hold on. Make sure my 4. So 36. We'll just do 36 for the first attack.
Okay.
And then for the second attack, it is 17 points of bludgeoning damage. But still 2 points necrotic.
Okay. All right. Okay, as you sort of like take your lance and then turn around and thrust it straight into it, most of the crystal shatters apart, and it actually lurches over and sort of like not in any human form, sort of like stabilizes itself. It's almost like it's like correcting, like stands back up, longer samurai blade at the ready, But it
Longer.
definitely like the longer than a typical.
I thought it
samurai
was like,
blade.
oh shit, it's got
and
longer.
straighter. Yeah.
It's the Terminator.
You have a bonus action, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
give him a little shift.
Go ahead and
17.
misses.
Fuck.
Just sort of like in your quickness as you realize this, turn it around and blunt it in. As it sort of like corrects itself, it shifts just a little bit, and you just impact the stone carving along the side. Voro, you're up. As you see sort of this like red, these flecks almost exploding off of the side as Card is attacking behind him.
So I'm going to use firebolt cantrip on him, on the statue guy, I guess.
Okay.
Since he's facing me, correct?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot the trap.
All right.
So it misses horribly. It does a 7.
Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't. Just sort of like the flame hits, caresses it, and just almost like slides as the momentum continues off and shoots behind him.
Okay, so then I'm going to. I still have my bonus is that you use a weapon attack on him, so I'm going to attack him with my mace or Morningstar.
Okay.
No, same thing. So yeah, same thing.
This is just impacts him once more, doing much less, almost nothing that you would have hoped for. 17. As the shadow sort of like almost disappears into the sky, and you can just see the silhouette blocking out the sun of Sparks' fervently flapping wings. They curl in on themselves, and you hear this like, and this similar to Kirby turning into a stone, just almost like meteoring down into this individual. Just barely hits. 10, 14 points of bludgeoning damage as like the head, it hits right onto it and just like shifts ever so slightly, again, not naturally, just like this almost like made of steel or some sort of metal, and it's just like Sparks slams onto the ground, creating this sort of like crater in the black and blue spidering ice out of the impact zone. And they are up. Roll a dexterity saving throw. Card. Just roll it. Remember, this guy is like, as they move. 10. You take 25 points of slashing damage.
Is that halved?
No, it's not. Oh yeah, you're raging. I'm
Yeah, I was
sorry.
like-
You take 13 points. Well, 12 points of slashing damage.
I was like, half though.
12 points. And you're up.
It turned towards me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what I'm about to do?
Okay. So you sort of like spin around with
I'm
your...
gonna say, aim for the crystal on its back! And I'm gonna give it the old 1-2 punch. No, it misses. First attack misses. Second attack. 18.
Just misses.
It just misses?
Yeah.
On an 18?
Yeah. Because you're
This
aiming...
is your fault.
Because you're aiming for the crystal, it's much harder.
Still your fault. Mister, I gotta have a shield everywhere I go.
It's like as you
Right.
stare into the
I'm good.
crystal, it
God.
gets so large in your vision, it almost like
Bonus action hurts though.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
16 plus 7.
Yeah. Makes it.
7 points of damage.
Okay.
Jesus
shattering
Christ.
more of the red crystal
That sucks so
outwards,
bad.
almost getting down to the base of where it's embedded. Voro, you're up. As you see, as the being has turned towards you to reveal this crystal that's mostly shattered at this point.
My God, the crystal. Okay, so
Of course.
he's made out of stone or crystalline. He's made out of like crystal. He's inorganic material, basically.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast Shatter on him, and basically any non-organic material has disadvantage on the saving throw for Shatter. So, yeah.
Okay. What are they? What are they?
Constitution saving throw of 13.
6 and a 7, naturally, and they don't have what a Constitution. Yeah, they don't have.
So as he
Yay.
fails, he takes the.
He shatters.
So,
we win.
3 points of damage left. How would you like to do this? If it's 3d8, it's literally impossible.
Shatters.
Okay. The shoulder shift, the blade sort of becomes so quick that this almost like crescent of red forms as it's about to attack your neck, and the being just first the arms fall, then the torso splits apart and falls towards the ground. The face cracks and shatters. The legs just stay there, covered by its sort of like a samurai gi tunic, and that is all that is left of this individual.
And I just look at you like, you should have just said it was crystal in the first place. I would have done that in the beginning, but you didn't
I
say it,
didn't
so
see. I don't
didn't-
know. So you don't really do much.
So I didn't do
So
anything.
I don't
'cause
know what you
I
really
didn't-
have
I
because you
didn't-
never really do much.
I didn't know it was.
Sorry, I don't know.
As soon as you said crystal,
You
I
gotta
was like,
see-
oh my
I think you
goodness, yes. I
Start
okay,
doing more, and
I
maybe I would
understand, but you
know.
didn't say it, so I didn't know.
I mean,
I would have done a lot more
he's
there.
rock. He's made of
but I
rock, dude. He's made of rock. What do you want more
I
from
didn't
me?
notice that, okay? You should have
Whatever.
told me, all right? I don't pay close attention to these things.
Yeah, okay. As this is going on, what is the jaguar doing?
He's still looking off to the edge. Like I've been rolling perception checks for him. It's like a 3 and then 4.
Wow.
Almost like in their own little world. It's as though like the orders of Jag Wad were to get you here, and they're just waiting for that to finish so they can take you back.
Take us back to. Okay.
Or even just leave you here. You're not quite sure. They seem inattentive. And let's see. Dan is still sort of lying, bleeding out on the ground.
I'm gonna walk over. I'm gonna run over to Dan and give him a healing potion.
Okay. I'm so sorry. That was reckless of me.
Did
What
not
happened?
see
Are
the
you okay?
wink? You see the wink, Dan? The wink. You son of a bitch.
I thought we'd made it. I've been
You
overconfident.
can wink at him.
Yeah.
And as you sort of like pull, as you like, Dan takes the potion and his wounds sort of like seal up into this large scar across his chest. Sparks walks over and he says, "Thank you, guys. Dan, I've been thinking about this, and I want Delilah to have the crystal flow." My brother did it. He found a legendary item, something of myth.
Correction, we found it. He died finally. No, I'm just
I was gonna say, wow, harsh. Damn.
Your characters never change. Just trolling the fuck out of the emotionally disturbed. And Dan goes, I know that your brother would have wanted you to have it. I couldn't possibly take that away from you. And Sparks looks to you guys and he says, "What do you think?"
I think Jag Wad would have. None of us have it. So
I mean, yeah.
make your decisions after we get out of here.
Yeah, let's discuss this when we get out of here. I will hold on to it just in case we have to go back and we get searched. And if somebody dies, I'd rather just, you know.
Can I check and see if that crystal is still, like, pieces of it are still pick upable?
Sure. Roll a investigation check.
9 this time instead of 8.
So you come
It's
in,
like dust. So you
clutch.
can't really. It's
Alright.
as you look at it, it has lost its glow and it's just sort of matte red.
We don't need to anymore.
Yeah, come in with the clutch kill, but can't do literally anything else.
No, yeah, I was wondering
Cool.
if it was like if there was anything with it. But no, there's nothing. Doesn't really matter.
So we're done here.
Dan looks over his shoulder to the orb and he goes,
You can try and touch it, but don't take it.
Yeah. Go touch it, Dan. You only died last time you touched it.
I mean, the thing that killed you last time is dead, but there might be another thing. So you can go ahead and touch that
Yeah.
thing again.
Just know that I'm not going to help you this time. I am against touching it.
We can get more fighting. Yeah.
"No,
More
you're right.
practice for the dueling chains, eh? More practice.
We didn't come here for extra.
I've been irresponsible.
I
This
came
time.
here for practice for the dueling chains. I want to fight. Let's do it. I want you to fight. I'll watch.
Instigating.
You're right. We should respect these ruins, this race. For Ollie's sake,
Don't you say
I'm
his
comfortable
name.
bringing the crystal flow back, but I suppose it's up to you on what we do with it.
Crush it up. Make some meth.
And Ollie goes, "No. I've made my decision. Ollie wanted that crystal flow to make me the best flyer there was around. The best in Marahute. And that's what I'll do. But I don't need it." And he sort of like, his wings sort of start to... "I'll see you guys back in Marahute."
You see the first dragonborn to ever fly?
I gathered up some of the crystal dust and handed it to him. Like, here, use some of this. Well, but actually, I'd do it very.
As like in your own mind, it's useless, and you're just like...
Do it very stealthy. Like, here, take this. You could use it in your engine stuff here.
So you're heading back to Marahute.
I'll do this on my own.
All right. Don't die. We'll see you back at the inn. Good luck.
And you,
Tell what's his face to prepare my drink for me.
the white storm giant.
Yeah. Tell Barsek.
I'll give the word to Barsek. You have my word. And he sort of like points at you and
We'll see
starts
you
flying
there.
off in the distance.
We're not there in 2 days. We're
I
dead.
Give him one hammer. Just here, protect yourself. A hammer and a small knife.
So he's like the...
Yeah, the hammer was like.
We will walk over to the Jaguar.
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 And as you look around, Dan is actually gone.
Oh, Dan.
What? Dan! Dan!
I think he touched. Did he touch?
Dan! Okay,
He like taps you on the shoulder. He's like, "Oh shit. Sorry guys, I just fast traveled back to the Winded Inn.
You can fast travel. Why did you tell us this before? Can you take?
You just press start and you
I don't have.
select the Winded Inn
My
and
UI doesn't work.
Oh, you see this green leaf start. I do this with green leaves around my hands.
Wait, what is that about?
Hearth.
Oh. And he's like, "No, I'm just kidding. I actually found this telescope on our way here. I should have told you about it." And he sort of like shows it to you, and on the side it says tele-scope. He's like, "Yeah, you just point it at wherever you want to go, and you blink, and it takes you there." I just,
Where? The moon.
Fuck.
Blink.
Let's not do that.
I'm just kidding. I want to make a fast travel joke to just like to expedite this, but yeah. So you guys approach the Jagawandi, and he sort of looks at you dispassionately again.
Take us back.
I'm holding the body like I give him a thumbs up. I'm like, Marahute?
He sort of realizes this, and sort of like you actually see for the first time sort of like sadness cross his face, as opposed to just like dumb passive disinterest.
Macy about
And he takes the body from you and curls it up.
Oh.
And then sort of like lifts you onto his shoulders, all three of you, and starts climbing back down. Just to sort of expedite this, because we are running out of time, you get back to Jag Wandar, and seeing Ollie's body, he presents you gifts of travelers that they had come across previously, and items that were not a part of this land originally.
they just steal stuff from travelers and give it to other people.
It is the telescope.
Oh.
It is a grappling hook, a sort of like wrist-mounted grappling hook.
That's cool.
I need to see.
Which one you want? I'm fine with either one. Don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Telescope's easy to run away with.
Well, let's see what else there is. Because we have other people that are a part of our party.
You could be. Well, this doesn't carry over.
Oh yeah, these items are pointless.
Well, I mean, they carry over to your characters here, and for whenever you use these characters again, you fuckers.
Hear that, Midnight? He called you a fucker. Hmm? Yeah, that's right. Get it.
Red and blue vials. These vials look familiar to your real life selves as what you used in the dreamscape previously. The one that is like a haste bubble and the one that is a slow bubble. And a cape that has that's made out of like blue feathers. Not her feathers. But it's a cape of featherfall essentially. So like if you're wearing it, you can use this would be useless to you because your wings already do this, but it would blanket your fall as you're going to the ground. So the telescope, the grappling hook, the two vials, and the featherfall cape.
Can the grappling hook like suck back in?
Yeah. It's like a bonus action
so it's like
to do
Just Cause
either.
then. Just like we just caused.
Yeah, with a parachute. And then boosters if you play long enough and unlock a few things.
So he's offering all of this?
Yeah, it's like a very large blanketed wrap of these items that they had found across various different travelers across this way.
As I pat card on the back of the cape falls out. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I just go, thank you, Jag Wad. We will be leaving your lands now.
We would appreciate that.
And,
Is Valerie still alive?
Could we get
Yeah, he rules over Marahute.
Okay.
could we get a guide back if it would be not too much to ask?
You just hear this. And Zigzar just like.
You could meet Valorith on your way back, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be nice, eh?
And as you guys are being sort of like carried up the landscape once more after the snow has settled from the avalanche, you look back and again in the crystalline landscape. Now that you've seen these structures close up, you notice percolating throughout all of the glaciers are many different structures of this ancient race. It's almost like you see like corridors and avenues through each one as though like they have been partially explored by some individuals, but not fully explored, if that makes sense. But it's just like now that the blizzard is gone, and you're familiar with these structures, you're just like, oh shit, as you're like looking behind the Jag Wad as they're taking you
us
up.
the whole time.
No, the structures aren't watching you. It's just like there's like this ancient civilization is actually pretty prevalent throughout this area, and so
they could like just peek out their window with their iced coffee.
No, they're still gone. Their ruins are just in the glaciers, and like some are jutting out of the glaciers, and so on and so forth. So it's like it's like presenting the opportunity. You have found one small portion of a huge offering, should you desire. And you've befriended maybe the Jag Wad.
I want to ask them, like, hey,
We're already gone.
what's... Oh, yeah. They're like, hey, how many of these places are there? Just, you know, a simple number of grunts to how many, what do you call it? Ruins there are in this vast, place. Wanna ask
For the
them.
first time, you hear 3.
What? You done this whole time?
Just kidding, no.
You have a very pleasant voice. Wow.
No, the shoulder just shrugs. Like it's the ruins are inconsequential to
So he doesn't
the
know.
Jag Wad.
You don't know Jag Wad, okay. If you don't know, just
I
tell
mean,
me
you
don't know.
even got that sense as you were on top of the ruin before that they purposely almost purposely care very little about these ruins. They're almost solely focused on their job, deemed by Valrith.
I'm gonna have a talk with Valrith for you, Jag Wad, just so you have a better job.
He laughs
Alright.
at you.
Yep.
Good luck having a conversation with Valrith.
But could you give me something that he knows we met you?
I mean, yeah, sure. He gives you this sort of like wooden symbol that you saw on Jagwandar. The sort of like multiple wings interlaced with each other to make the V.
I'm like, oh, thank you. Jag Wad D? Is that his name?
Literally Zigzar. It's been said.
Zigzag. Okay, Zigzag.
You're not having this conversation with this creature. That's just sort of like it grunts at you and then it hands you that as it sort of understands what you're saying.
That's why I was like, yes, Zigzag. Cool.
Yeah.
Put it away.
All right, and with that, as they bring you back to the now broken-handed statue of Valrith and the
Isn't it
current or previous iteration of Zigzar,
Isn't it covered in snow?
this is where, yeah, it's just like the nub is sticking out.
Ah,
Could you put this? Do we want to put this back? Like,
he's not carrying us in that thing the whole time.
Yeah. We will end it there.
no, Jag Wad.
As it disappears into the snow, just like walks like an escalator.
With a fist up in its air.
Yeah.
Don't you
Forget about me.
Thank you for playing, guys.
Thank you for trying to.
Thank you for watching, Assassins.
Oh, God, I always forget about.
You forget about
He
you.
forgets about
I don't
He
forget
forget- he
about you
forgets
guys. I
about
forget
all
about
you
the
guys.
outro.
You sitting
all
right
right.
there in
Yeah.
your striped
You guys
yellow
are with
shirt
us
on
the
In
whole
that
time.
striped sweater.
I wouldn't
He's
outro
beginning
you if you were
you.
really here.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, Kyle.
Now together now,
Chad.
dude. I mean, so many people are watching. It's probably like 15 Kyles and like
I hope
37
not.
Chads.
No, Chad, no.
As always, Sassins, thank you for watching. Until fate next brings us together. And never stop playing role-playing games.